working the bugs out. That'll work. Here we are again. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o sitting on my terrace pyramid galactic patio. How is your funk? Funk and Telica. Hit me in my protons. Oh, yeah. Hit me in my protons, baby. Let's get galactic with it. I think I can create more space. It's like I just run out of space. I got stuff everywhere. But what's happening? Getting on here a little later. Just actually, I was watching ESPN and they had a documentary on HBCU's Black College Football. And I got to watching it and actually kind of forgot I was watching it. So what's up, Strong Discernment? So I was watching that. And then they was interviewing Dion. And I was like checking Dion. I was like, okay, because Dion made a great point. They're going to play in the spring. And that was like, at first, that was the success of the USFL. Was the 2 strong seasons they had was because they played in the spring. People supported the football, especially the first season. It wasn't until Trump came in and sabotaged. But so the black college teams and some of the other leagues are going to play in the spring, which to me, I said this last year. I said teams that would play in the spring are going to always play in the spring. I really believe that. I think they want that. And it's a way for smaller conferences in some ways to be highlighted. Because I could see how the big colleges wanted to kind of break away. That's what the college football tournament thing is about. It's excluding the smaller schools for sure. So just got caught into watching that and the old players. And I think I told the story before where when I was little boy, we lived in Cassopolis, Michigan, which is on the border of Indiana, Elkhart. And so everybody loved Notre Dame when I was a little boy in the early 60s. And so I was a Notre Dame fan. And I remember in elementary, every Sunday you could watch the Notre Dame highlights but it was either before the highlights or after. They always show Grambling games. They always would show Grambling games. And that's how I first heard about Walter Payton. I watched when they played Grambling one year, when Jackson State played Grambling. And they showed highlights of it. And I saw Walter Payton turned it out. And I remember I had a magazine. And I had Walter Payton as a freshman. I had Walter Payton's pictures in my locker. I love some Walter Payton. CJ, what's happening? Strong Discernment. Gronk is getting a lot of love for Super Bowl MVP. Kevin Durant pulling shenanigans. Yeah, read my soul. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Russell's last shot. I didn't see that one. I was watching. I was watching. What was it? The Celtics and the Clippers, and they just like threw the ball away at the end of the game. The Clippers had the game, and they scored, and they like just threw the ball to Kimba. It wasn't really a real steal. And I was like, look at this. This is. And I watched, you say Wilson, so you're talking about Washington game, right? You talking about Washington? Because the game I watched earlier was the Raptors won. The Raptors beat, let me think, who did the Raptors beat? Wasn't the Bucks. I can't think of it right now, but the Raptors won. So that's what I was watching. So, no, I didn't see that shot. I have to see it in the highlights. Hey, all about business, boxing, what's happening? Crazy Sarge, you get a middle name yet, baby? Tatum threw the ball away. Tatum, no, it was one of Tatum threw the ball. No, they won, didn't they? Oh, Boston played. No, Boston won. Boston beat the Clippers, right? Boston beat the Clippers. Or was that the first game I watched? No, with Kimba. Oh, they won. I think that was the game that just went off. That I just got done watching. Because that's how I started watching the Black Collar stuff. It came on after. The Timberwolves guard. Oh, you know what? I forgot it was on. Because I was watching the hockey game. LA played Las Vegas, and Las Vegas was beating them 5-0. And when that Fox channel is near, I saw that the Timberwolves was playing. But I got to watching the other game and kind of forgot about to check on the Timberwolves. I should have taped it. Wasn't thinking. I usually don't miss a Timberwolves game either. And I saw it was on. The Wild, they didn't play. They wasn't on. But I watched 2 other hockey games. So, and then I was watching the Tampa Bay game. I was rewatching the Tampa Bay game and looking at the sets. And it's funny. One of the sets they ran where was 13 for Tampa Bay, where he got a touchdown. And it's a clear where you see the earbud. But again, it's analytics. So what they pretty much run is they run twins to the right, and they have a single receiver on the other side. And so what the Chiefs was doing a lot of times, they was running press coverage. So some looks was like 7-8 across because everybody was pressed up. So on the other side, even number 13 for the Bucks was pressed. The safety, they had rush in that side, and you had the strong safety. So you had the free safety or the strong safety on the other side of the field. You had the free safety over here. So he's supposed to help deep. And it was 4th and 3 for New England, and the safety doesn't get deep. It looked, to be honest, the way the DB for Kansas City responded, he almost expected a cover 2 look. So he kind of stayed with his dude, but he expected that deep out coverage. And the guy, I want to say analytics sometime, but sometimes they be putting them mugs in positions where the dudes are not going to respond. And that could be as well too. They put a dude and they know how he's going to respond. So they ain't even got to tell him don't drop. But because they put him in that position where his speed, he probably never could have covered that anyway. They told him he was only about 4 yards off the line, which he should have been a little deeper. It was 4th and 3, so I understand, but they wasn't running a run formation. They was running a clear, I'm not going to say a clear passing formation, but I'm saying a formation that it looked like they could pass out of, not just power run. Because they ran a pro set. No, they ran single back set. And the safety just doesn't get back deep. And I've showed 2 or 3 of that before in the past, how they do that kind of thing on purpose. Hey, let me see. The Timberwolves guard. Yeah, I missed that. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, Tatum threw the ball away. Kimba got it back. Yeah, there you go. Right, Tatum threw the ball away, and Kimba got it right back. Right, exactly. That was it. Yep. Tyreek Hill, the best receiver in the league. I mean, how do you define that? Because he don't run the greatest patterns. Let's be honest. He don't run. His patterns aren't crisp. You know, he doesn't run really crisp patterns. So I mean, so you have to really, if that's not part of how you judge it, and you just saying speed guy, yeah, he's one of the better speed guys for sure. I kind of put the best as the dude who runs the best patterns. But separation, you know, it's separation. So you have to put him high in getting separation. He's one of the best at that. So I would agree with that. But fire separation. But just crisp patterns, he doesn't know. And he gets, like, when he gets double teamed, a lot of times they stop him because his patterns don't be crisp. Like even when he runs that midfield flag, a lot of times the way he'll bend it too far inside, so he'll round it coming back outside because of his speed, but he'll take them rounded steps and then accelerate. And sometimes they cover that, because if he just would have made the sharp cut instead of kind of rounding it and thinking the speed was going to make up for it, he would be a little more accurate against that sometimes. So, but yeah, I like him. I mean, I like him. I like his speed and his getting by people. Hey, Lobo, I think that's what that says. In a few years, Jefferson and Judy will be the best. Jefferson now Jefferson runs I watched him a lot. And Jefferson runs nice patterns and is not scared to go over the middle, but he runs really strong patterns. For example, he gets out of his break really quick compared to like Thielen. See, Thielen was a guy which is a possession receiver. He was a possession receiver. He never was going to be. And Greg Jennings was like that as well. When Greg Jennings had Favre, Greg was a possession receiver. He wasn't really running by dudes. He ran good routes. He was quick enough, and Greg had good hands. Excellent basketball player in high school. So Greg was that kind of possession. Like Thielen and Greg Jennings are really close together. I say Greg might have been slightly faster, but I don't know because I don't think Greg could have played special teams, and Thielen's played special teams. So Thielen might have been faster, but same kind of dude that just get open. And you have to be in the right offense for that. If you're not really fast, and Thielen was perfect. That's really why I'm surprised that Greg didn't thrive here, because Thielen came and did the same kind of thing, just get open. If they ain't scripted, but Thielen came from he was on the Suicide Squad. He was running punts and kickoffs and stuff. So, but strong discernment. You said a couple things that I was really still thinking about, and so I just want to go over because what you had said is, where did Jose Aguirre get his information from? And so I just want to kind of share that a little more. I want to get into that. I've been thinking about that all day and how to share this a little more. So what happened to me is I've always had an interest in time. It's like Flash was always my favorite character because of the possibilities and him being able to do the moments. I mean, even the way he used to take it, he used to wear his uniform in the ring. I don't know if y'all remember that. Flash would just pop his uniform out, but it was in his ring, and I guess he could just. But when I was given the time walking papers, already having a fascination with time. Again, even before the time walking papers came, I had studied about the skulls and how to create a time crystal, they called it, was having all the skulls together that was created in the Americas. All the ancients would come together, the Mayan, and maybe probably even before that, at least the Omen or Omic. And that's how the time crystals, from my understanding, was achieved by putting all these skulls together. And what you would have in the middle is a oscillating, kind of repeating energy that just really almost in some ways makes its own reality, just because it's going to almost multiply itself in some ways. And if you look at things from the cellular level, that's what a lot of it does. It just multiplies itself. And then you start having more sophistication come out as this thing multiplies. If you look at our body, that our bodies are very much like that. But the time walking papers gave me different possibilities. Again, looking at the Cleopatra tribe as being from here in America, and not really a Greek, definitely not a Greek name, and not a Kemetic name, a name stolen out of the Americas. And looking at Julius Caesar's true work, instead of just thinking of some cat that got murdered by jealous people, he was actually a cat that manipulated, and we live in that time of right now, what he manipulated. And gave us his month. So, but the old man, as Lester House calls him, Meredith Quinn, gives a lot of dates and stuff, but he gives a lot of the philosophy of the time walking and the possibilities. And yes, he does give the connection with the Moors and being allies with the Moors. I've said that many times before as well. As a matter of fact, probably being one of the first that they actually shared information with. And I think one thing that probably he has bias is trying to say that some of those people could have been here in America already, to be honest. And I think he shows bias there because he says I'm not saying they didn't cross the Atlantic with brass flying machines. I very much know they did this. But what I'm saying is they shared that information here in America too, to the people that were here. So, and he has a bias towards that. And that's a lot of the natives have bias like that. And that's just how they feel. All the prejudices on top of them, they pass. We get over that. But it led me to a lot of the Mayan information. It just naturally seemed to to lead me that. And it actually led me to this book, Earth Ascending. And this book, for a pretty simple book, again, he starts getting into the binary, the wave harmonic, and now he kind of mixes a little bit of, well, he looks at time periods, and some of the time periods is some added stuff, I'll say that. But a lot of this, I'm just trying to think of how to share everything. Okay. Like simple things like these can be type of mantras. And this, you find this kind of stuff through research. And what he's showing is he's showing different cultures doing something very similar. And he does recognize that. These are called Aboriginal attunement time plates. And so we have the House of the Sun, the Navajo Sky Window, and this other one is the Australian Dreamtime Memory Plate. So, and he points out some of the rhythms. I mean, again, he gets into the Mayan binaries, as it's called. And that immediately appealed to me because this system, it's easier to calculate easier numbers without the machine in this system. And in some ways, it's just adding your toes. And he calls this the token, the Mayan version of the sacred calendar written in binary mathematical notation with Mayan day glyphs. But again, a lot of this story can be shown in these numbers. These numbers back up a lot of the information and how the, when I talk about what yanis are, when I talk about the yanis, a lot of this does back that kind of information up and the science behind understanding this. And so this is a good introduction book. And I actually bought this book second. I bought this one second. And it seemed like I have another book. This is a quick little book called Manifestation of the Nanosphere. This doesn't really have the illustrations, but it goes a lot with the other book. And then this is the book. I'll tell a short story. I gave a little bit of this information on somebody's page one time, and just gave them a little paragraph. And then when they were on camera, they put some bogus information with it, but used my information. Never reading this book. Yeah, he gives you stuff like this. No, I can look at this stuff and like be in that stuff. It really experience it. And this is called Chronology of Transformation. And it goes again on some of the regular things that we study. World, 13 moon calendar change, peace movement, discovery of the law of time. And that's what he's like. When you had asked me, is there ever a time that we would, where he got a lot of the information, again, he was doing a lot of the things and putting himself in a lot of the places to receive a lot of this. And that's kind of just how spirituality is sometimes. You have to be able to receive it. And then you have to be able to, I'm tweaking, then you have to be able to have your own vision of what you're going to do with it. And that's kind of where I went to. And then this led to the Pop Evolve. But let me see, who have I missed? So I just want to touch on that. Yeah, Adams is always open. I like to talk. My favorite movie is Back to the Future. A lot of truths in there. Yeah, it really is. Read my soul, it really is.
El Lobo, I think I said, what's up to you? My understanding of the Moors didn't refer to themselves as that. That is PNN. I don't know. He throws that around that they did, but a lot of times they had the original tribe's name. Now the group might have been called that, but a lot of times they went by the original mother's names. I'll say this is one thing that I don't. Now in South America, you do find, well, you find a mixture. You know, like when you go into Eight Wind's daughter, Turtle Lady, I think is what they called her. She ran her area, so I would say South America, Mexico, South America was a little different. They kind of had the blood rulership, whereas North America tended to the sacred mothers seemed to always be the ones that blanketed the country, even up and down the woodland trails, like when the people were moving. So I don't know how the dogma fits in with that kind of system, you know. But yeah, a lot of times they would call themselves whatever the mother's name were or the tribe. Yeah, they called them that. That would be what they would call themselves. Look at Rick Clady's work. He was killed because he believed. No, Schultz. I wrote that down. I still haven't got to it. Wow. I didn't, so I will. Okay. So much knowledge. I miss it. Read my soul. Thanks a lot for this info. I'm really researching this forbidden history. Yeah, like the time walking papers. I just don't. I can't really share it, and I've tried to share it with people, and it wouldn't send. I've shared it with one person, but I've tried to share it with other people, and it would not send. But then just knowing the brother, and it's like, yeah, this was meant for me. It was really meant for me, and so I shared small bits of it, but it was definitely written for me, and that's just where inspiration, you know, a lot of inspiration, and it's like I was saying, they all in their writings use their prejudices, but you can look past that. You can look past those kind of things. I think we just saw a government where if you, it wasn't even you had to look past things. If you looked at the total picture, it was a government for us. And then this thing's it makes you wonder, is this for us now? Seems less. Again, the warmongers. That's what they really favor is continuous war. It's been continuous war for 20 years now. With the cultivating forces fighting forces, taxpayer money against taxpayer money. Well, let me take a break. I'm drinking Alaska Amber Ale, Alaska Brewing Company. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them, fire that shit up. And it's funny. I caught a layup earlier, and as you see how they did the layup, I was like, it's just a lot of times what I've noticed they do is they make mistakes on purpose, so we report it, and in that way they are like, well, see, we did that just to get the reaction, and I've noticed they play that game too. Again, they want to keep their things alive. Oh, but you guys know I called it every night. Another death, another actor death. Matter of fact, we had two. We had two deaths. We had Christopher Plummer. He won an Oscar. He is most, I won't say Christopher Plummer played a Dracula too, but I could be wrong. But he was in The Sound of Music. He won an Oscar in something else. He was an old cat, old European cat that played in a lot of probably 90s, 80s, 70s movies. Probably even some 60s stuff. But again, he won an Oscar, 91. And someone I really had never heard of before. The other person was Diane Durham. Diane Durham was I don't even know what this shit here is. She didn't make the Olympics. She was the national seniors gymnastic champion. And for some reason, they held her out of the Olympics, some politics, some favorism. I don't know how the senior champion didn't. I don't know. It's like the highest honor. The National Senior Gymnastics is the highest American honor for a gymnast. And for some reason, she didn't make the Olympics. But they don't even say how this chick dies. She's only 52 years old. 52 years old. Didn't say long illness. So we're up to 18 deaths with 1 day to go. So Shiva's skirt is hungry. It is, this beast is feeding and picking up. And this young lady, you just don't die suddenly at 52. So this is sad. This is sad. So we're going to see one or few more. Just as the one time where we saw a Super Bowl death after the game. It was the first time since I've been keeping track of this for about 3 or 4 years now. Well, 17 for sure. And I want to say even 16. Keeping track of the number of deaths, because it's like one person put on Facebook, she didn't know that the Super Bowl was a ritual. Well, it's the biggest ritual of the year. I mean, one thing, like look at NASCAR. One thing we have to look at, this is the beginning of the year. Now, I know it's the end of the football season, but it's also the beginning of the year, if you understand. And like I was saying with NASCAR, their biggest race is at the beginning of the year. Their Super Bowl of NASCAR is at the beginning of the year. And technically, so is football. They take advantage of the biggest thing of the year. And it's technically the biggest event of the year. Now, with all this going on, of course, it's suffered. And it's going to... Oh, okay. I guess I moved too fast. So it's suffered. But it's totally ritual with the colors and everything. The colors are no accident. It's funny. I've caught other people talking about when Katy Perry was on there with them stilts riding the dragon. It was like it couldn't have been more in your face. Yeah, Edward, what's happening? I'm sorry I didn't see you. Rocky, what's happening? No, just Miss Dies. Exactly. This person probably didn't have any body fat on her at all. You know, probably a very petite person. Definitely going to get those too. Okay, yeah, they're you can get those cheap. Kind of a deep read. This is the month of the full rituals, All-Star, Grammys, Oscars, Super Bowl. They're and you know what? It's funny. LeBron and them posturing about the All-Star game. They posturing. They're like, oh, it would be unconscionable to have it. Some dudes never make All-Pro, but they play in the All-Star game. So they get a ring, and for the rest of their lives, they can be called All-Stars. It's like dudes ain't All-Pro, but they play in the Pro Bowl. It's not the same thing. Yes, it is a good achievement, but it's not the ultimate of being All-Pro. However, you go to the Pro Bowl too, they say that. They'll give you one or the other. Usually they'll just tell you All-Pro. I mean, Pro Bowl. That's usually what they say about you. But I'll check that out, Rick. I've just been really busy hanging around. My son just moved back in with me. The celebrity ceremony starts up to Grammys as well. Yes, they do. At WrestleMania, the list of rituals as well. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm just saying, all I'm going by is the 2-week period. The 2-week period before the end of the championship, starting that Monday between the championships to the Super Bowl. That's the only days I'm concerning. And during that almost 2-week period, every year we seeing these same deaths. Now, you're right. When the Grammys are leading up, you're going to start seeing those deaths. Like the biggest one everybody should really have remembered was Al Jarreau. Because if you really remembered and look, Al Jarreau was clearly going to be dying like 3 years before they actually said he died. They had to have kept him alive. And I'm not trying to disrespectful, but I'm just saying There was a point where it didn't look like he was going to make it. And then he dies 3 years, the night before the Grammy. I mean, that was one thing that never made sense to me. When I remember I first heard someone say that, and I'm like, that can't be. He had to die years ago. And sure enough. So that shows you they kept him alive until, and that's what they do. I know people don't like hearing that, but that's what they do. They'll get the care. I'm going to say this again. The people will get the care until it's their time. Until the mathematical time, these people are that the old folks that need to stay around, these people will get care until it's their time, until mathematically it's their time, until whatever ritual they want. They own all the money and the power and the hospital, so it's easy to keep a celebrity alive. I mean, think about the young girl, how easy it would be to just do something to her. Medicine. I mean, these dirty trick people they show you in the movies, they can break in your house, go into your medicine, and put some other medicines and then get up out of there. I mean, that's what it looked like they did to Prince. Some kind of way they got up in that compound. He lived in a compound, big fence, the wire on top, but yet somebody got up in there and got at him. You don't accidentally take fentanyl. Some of that stuff you can't even touch. You that much of a chemist, if you trying to cut that, you can't even cut it. I told you the story about the cops here. It was 3 people OD'd outside this house here in Minneapolis. The cops went in. 1 touched the bag, 2 touched the bag. The other was just exposed to it. All 3 of them started ODing. So next thing you know, in a matter of minutes, they almost had 6 people at the same time ODing. And the people that was in the house, all they did is they didn't even get high with the stuff. They all just touched it. They just touched this stuff. So that's how they do these things. So they just this is what keeps them in power. Like strong discernment, this is what all we have to break. And just like you said, it's another one for the music. I mean, I believe Whitney Houston was killed during the Grammy times, wasn't it? Around that time too. And so they feed a hungry beast. They feed a hungry beast. And these are the kind of things that need to be broken. And I think making people aware of what's done and how corrupt it is. It's like music in itself is not necessarily corruptible. It's a lot of times because music is nothing but fractals as well. When you look at the patterns when you write music, it's obviously fractals. And even speech patterns are a type of fractals too, because again, they're trying to convey a certain thing. It's like really when you hear rappers rapping about selling crack, if the cat's 20 years old, I didn't know people were still getting rich off crack 10 years ago. It's like you see. And like, so what is the beefing about with the guns? If you mention a gun in these days and age, what is the beef about now? If it ain't about dope, it's definitely not about crack. It's like, what was his name? T Grizzly. This cat in his early 20s talking about crack, early 20s. He's probably a little older now, but when his song came out, like where? How are you old enough? What part of Michigan was you in where people still wanted it like that, especially when meth came in? 10 years ago, crack wasn't popping. Not like 10 years previous. But you see, they're paid to make this kind of music. They're paid to. But music is modern. I love music. I play music almost all day, especially when I get ready. I want to raise my vibration. It's like one thing I like. I got this little speaker, and I'm about to get turntables too, and get more little speakers. But and it's not so little, but it pushes. I can run instead of wearing headphones. I can run the sounds. Like I love the winter, pushing the winter sounds. Okay. Ah. Yep. Pro Bowl is not better than all pro teams and second team. Yeah, exactly. Making one of the Pro Bowl teams is generally 3. So just making one of the Pro Bowl teams is a good season. And same with all, basketball, same thing. Uh, Amy Westinghouse, Whitney, Kobe before the Grammys last year. Yeah. What entity is being fed? The instruments are better without language, spells, and rap. A lot of times it is. Shiva's skirt, which actually translates into well, Shiva's skirt is yellow, but it's the destroying part of Shiva, because Shiva's other color is like a wouldn't say like a turquoise, but the destroyer skirt part is the yellow, and so it's actually the destroyer energy that's being fed. So, and I mean, literally, it's being fed these different celebrities. That's what they're being served up for. And it will be interesting because I know how they want this blood. And even when they first passed, that blood is the blood. I don't know if I really want to say this, but how do I say this? I bet those people don't have a lot of chemicals put into them when they die. Or I bet it's a long wait before they put chemicals. And I mean being embalmed. I bet it's a slow period on embalming them people. Do you get what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so it's the destroying part of Shiva. You could even say Kali, the Kali part, because Kali came revenge when Shiva got killed. Kali, she didn't stop just at the one who killed Shiva. She kept going. But that's just Shiva again in itself, the destroyer part. Yeah. I tell you what I like about this little speaker. I can hear all the instruments. Like kind of like that's the advantage of headphones. We've kind of gotten out of having like the crisp sounds. Again, I always loved having 4 speakers and an equalizer, so I could really crisp the sounds. When I used to get cars tricked out, I always wanted tweeters in there because I wanted, not just because what a lot of dudes just wanted to have distorted bass in their trunks, and I never understood that. Why would you want distortion? Because you're in the car and you're hearing the distortion. I've only had a couple partners that put them in right and didn't have distortion. Most jobs are sloppy. And it's making the whole car rattle. Shouldn't do that. But why would you like that? I remember my son, I knew he had a lead foot. So first kind of car, I got him one of those big body Cadillacs, like a 97, 98, which still had a lot of get up and go, but it wasn't sports car. Like I wanted him used to getting to driving himself. So, but he put one of them kicker box in there, and it got away from wanting pure music, hearing every note. I mean, even on Jimi Hendrix music, you can hear all the notes. Like if you listen to Mitch playing the drums, like listen to Machine Gun, and you want to hear a drummer who challenges the greatest guitars ever, listen to either Buddy Miles or Mitch Mitchell playing the drums on Machine Gun. Like listen to Jimi Hendrix play Machine Gun on New Year's Eve, 1970 at the Fillmore. And you want to hear somebody kicking ass on drums, if you love drums, yeah, Buddy Miles got to get some work in. But Mitch was the same way. But when he plays Machine Gun and Jimi Hendrix goes off on Machine Gun, you hear a dude pushing him. It's like the song Harold Silverman, I think, or Harold Silver, I think is his name. He plays a song for my father, and he plays the piano, but he has some mariachi horn players. He gets into some solos, and you can hear he is chopping that piano so hard where he's making them like turn it up. They're turning them horns up, and he's pushing them. And I love that thing. Like there's a song by Smokey Robinson called More Love, and it's a slow song, but it's such a unique slow song where it really builds up. I mean, Smokey had a good way where the song. So why can't he open the door? Oh, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How'd you take your shirt off? You went to lift weights?
I went through lift.
Yeah, you went to lift?
I went to lift. The fucking transportation
Oh.
system.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't have a mask on me.
Oh.
So I put it on my head.
Okay. I just bought Electric Ladyland and it came today. We'll be blasting tomorrow morning. Oh yeah. They had a song on there called, and I used to vibe to it. It was called "What a Merry Man I Would Be" in 1983. And I bought the album like in 80, 79 or 80. But that was kind of a deep thing. That's where Prince got Prince 1999.
Got.
Huh?
I was hoping you fix your train of thought.
Yeah.
Prince got.
Prince song 1999 was kind of a little bit of "What a Merry Man I Would Be" in 1983. I think it was kind of yeah, but that's a great album. It's really a great album. And the beautiful thing about it is he's the sole producer. He plays damn near every instrument, all the bass, all the guitar parts, bass or electric. Majority of them, he plays everything. And then you got Stevie Winwood that comes in. Yeah. Music is soothing. Well, today I believe is day 9. Okay, really? I want to hear you smacking.
I'm just leaving.
Like you just smacking her. I mean,
your mic won't pick it up.
It picks everything up.
Can't pick this up.
So we have 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 Uno. We have 4 kin, and then we have 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes. We have 4 Uno, and we are on kin 9. We're on kin 9, and 9 kin is 9 kin is Mulak, Raindrop, Cosmic Seed, and Gate of Awakened Consciousness, Principle of Communication, Expansion of Higher Life, and we are starting a new cycle. So the energy is coming in from the east, and then the Toltec wisdoms. In this image, we see a character with the name of Ilma, which means older woman and represents the old Mother Earth. Uma is practicing the ritual of burnt water, in which the reconciliation of the opposites, fire and water, in the basis of the powerful ceremonies like the Tamakato, the Toltec form of the Native American sweat lodge. Between the goddess and the fire, we see the dot that represents oneness, making clear that nothing is complete without its opposite. And at the end, the two are the one. The sign on top is the sun, and it illuminates the process, speeds the process around. In this nutrient, as a nutrient power, Alt is the placenta that envelopes, protects, and nourishes. It represents the place and the time when the new being is evolving, getting ready to come into the world for the first time. This metaphor of the pregnancy process illuminates how every new dream or project is realized. It should be embraced, cared for, nurtured for, and brought into the world at the proper time. Timing. That's why I mean when I say timelessness, it's timing as well added into that. May all your timing come in at the proper time. That's also when you give timelessness to people, that's also a part of it. Like the water that is the source of life, you are being called to embrace something that is coming to exist for the first time. Just like her, you are the sacred container of a new expression of life energy that comes after a gestation period. Be ready, be aware, and be ready, and be generous in your nurturing of what is coming. It is already within you, whether you are aware it or not. Getting the alt card may be also announced the need for a process of cleansing whatever is blocking the natural flow of energy in your own life. In both the inner and the external world, what you experience as problems and hard times are basically the manifestation of the interpretation and the natural flow of energy in some areas of your life. What the alt card what the alt card is telling you that some specific situation in your life or in your soul needs to be cleansed and removed. whatever is blocking the energy, so that life can flow naturally again. You may be in a crucial point in your life in the need of that cleansing, but because of the limited awareness of what is really going on, you may be resisting the process, which will be more pain. Beware of making the mistake. What you need to do more opposite, embrace the process of cleansing your soul and your inner self.
Hey, what up, Father? You guys like the shirt? Oh, they can't see it. Yeah. Hold up.
Okay, you knocked some shit
I
down.
didn't knock anything down. I was fixing the view.
Now you're blinding me. Okay. So what would you like to talk about, son?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Actually, I'm on the property of my
Yeah.
parent.
It looks better if you don't.
All right.
What would you like to talk about?
Doesn't matter. I like to philosophize right now.
What do you want to philosophize about?
Doesn't matter. I just want to hear some little, just speak some cult stuff. Some of your little cult stuff that I disagree with. We can build a conversation on that.
I don't know. We have to have a starting process.
All right. Something you think I would not believe.
You believe in things? I don't believe in anything. So you still believe in things? What do you believe in? Tell us what you believe in.
No. What I'm saying is.
No. You just said. Tell me.
And you're cutting me off before I can finish my statement.
Go ahead. Finish your statement.
I perceive the things that you speak and tell other people.
Okay.
I perceive that as a belief. So I'm saying things that you believe, I would like to hear.
But I don't believe in anything. So what are you
That's
saying?
how I perceive it. I'm not saying you do, but I'm perceiving it as a belief. So I would like to know some of these things.
Well, this is one thing about beliefs. Beliefs are...
I don't want to make an argument about beliefs.
No, I'm just saying.
That's just semantics.
But it is not flowing with a lot of people.
No. That's just semantics.
No. When people believe in things, they're stuck in it. So when you know and you open yourself to all the possibilities, you have a free flowing mind, because when you believe, you can get blocked.
Those are just specifics that have nothing to do with anything. And I want to have that's nasty. I want to have a debate about something. I don't want to argue about beliefs and shit.
But it is debating.
I don't want to debate about vocabulary. I want to debate about things that you perceive as true.
Okay.
How about that? I worded that a little different. Things you perceive as true. I want to debate about those.
Such as?
Anything.
I need to have a starting point.
Fire spirits.
Huh? Fire spirits.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Where were the first time you heard about fire spirits?
When you put out candles when you put out candle spirits.
When you put out candle spirits
with a
candle snuffer.
Yeah, when you put on them with a snuffer instead of blowing them out.
But you heard someone tell a story about the fire spirit in the house one time.
No.
Yes. Think about it.
Talking about when I burned down mom's house almost?
No. You don't ever remember about someone, you were sitting in the room with somebody.
Illiterate.
And someone told you about a fire spirit being around. You don't remember that story?
Illiterate.
Huh?
I said illiterate.
Your uncle, you don't remember his story?
No, sir.
No. Okay. But that was the first time you heard it.
All right. Well, build your argument off that.
Well, do you think, is that possible that something would exist just as a earth, wind, fire, ethers?
No.
Okay. Then what is it?
It's an element. It's not a...
Go ahead.
It's not an existing spirit. It's just an element. Like fire doesn't have its own mind. Fire exists off. Like the movements of fire is based on winds and other elements that cause it to move. It doesn't just move over free will, which I believe that you think it does.
Okay. But okay, would the fire been older than the planet though? What was the fire spirit before the planet came into its own?
Well, fire cannot live without not H2O, but oxygen. Fire can't live without oxygen because it needs oxygen to survive, or else it won't be able to exist. You know? No, that's wrong. No, that is wrong. Completely true.
Because what are we talking about?
No. There's three things that fire needs. It needs fucking. My fault. It needs heat. It needs oxygen, and another one I don't remember.
Not,
there's three things that it needs to be able to survive.
not in the ethers, fire, spirit. We're talking about spirit. We're not talking about in 3D.
And alliterate the ethers.
The ethers, the gases that one is able to join.
Well, right now we're not in the ethers.
But what I'm saying is
We're
that that exists in that realm.
We're not arguing.
Oh, okay. Another point.
Wait, listen. We're not arguing the ethers. We're arguing the here and now because myself,
but you brought in the ethers saying fire, spirit. Spirit doesn't necessarily exist in 3D. It exists a lot in the ethers.
Okay. For this argument, we are arguing.
Oh, now you want to change the rules.
For this argument, we are arguing the here and now, the third dimensional plane, Earth.
But that's limiting because it's not everything. It's not the whole story.
Well,
we're not telling the whole story.
Me and you cannot transcend into the fourth dimension, the whatever, the ethers. Me and you cannot transcend.
You can speak for yourself. You can't say.
I'm saying me and you as a group cannot transcend into the ether. Because if one of your group members cannot transcend, then that means your whole group cannot transcend. Because then you are no longer a group that can transcend because one of them can't.
Okay.
Because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So like I am saying, me and you cannot transcend into the ether. So why would I sit here and argue with you about something that is in the ether that I cannot transcend into? Transcending is your belief. So I'm trying to word it this way.
Okay.
But I cannot go into the ether.
Well,
so we are arguing the here and now.
Let me give you some facts about your family.
That
I've been able to leave my body with your brother. I showed your brother how to do it. Your brother Cameron. I've showed your mother how to do it. And so there's more exist. That's my point. More exists. But what I'm saying, if it exists in that realm, it doesn't need the elements that it would need in this reality. That's my point.
I'm telling you that I, myself, may not believe in that. And since I do not believe in that,
you haven't even studied enough to believe in it or not.
Let me finish this.
You're very limited.
I do not believe in that. Since I do not believe in that, I cannot enter the ether, as you say. So I would not like to argue about something that exists in the ether.
Okay.
I would like to argue about something that exists in the here and now on our third dimensional plane.
Okay, so when you saw the generator moving, what was that?
That was some crazy shit.
How is it possible in this 3D plane that you see that generator in its true movement?
How
is that possible?
That crystal never exited the third dimensional plane. It was everything it did was three-dimensional.
How?
Well, it was just spinning, which was three-dimensional.
Wait, no, the three-dimensional part of it is not spinning.
Anything in the third dimension can spin.
No. Don't change it. It cannot spin where you perceive it in this normal range.
Are you saying it cannot spin because nothing gave it energy to spin?
No, I'm saying to perceive it moving is not in normal perception. It's not normal.
To perceive it moving without me or something I saw give it energy to spin. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, what I'm saying is either you were spinning greater to perceive it, which is more than likely what it was, is you were vibrating high off everything in the room, and it was just at the perfect time, and you looked at it, you caught its true movement. So that's a different space-time.
Let me hold that.
Got rid of it.
No. I'm about to grab it so your viewers can see it because this shit was spinning. I may be one of your anti-cult followers.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in that shit. All right, listen, y'all. I don't believe in this hoo-ha he speaks of, but this thing right here,
it's a generator.
This shit was spinning. All right, look. This is the story. I don't know. It was some father-son bonding, you know. We were watching some TV, right? I had my blanket laid out on a pallet on the floor. There's like his couch is back here. Then there's this table with all these crystals and stuff. And then there's a little bit of open space. And then there's the TV beyond that. I was on this little open space with my blanket. His little stupid crystal was like on the table. We're watching the TV. It might have been John Wick, was it?
Maybe
I'm pretty sure it was John Wick.
2 or 3, maybe.
It was John Wick 1. It was John Wick 1. It was during the rain scene. And it was on like I remember this pretty vividly because there's some crazy stuff I saw. It was at the end of the John Wick movie where they're in the rain scene and they're fighting, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I guess it's not important. but it was on like the corner of the table, right? This was important because it was at the end of the rain scene where like you done seen John Wick kill like a couple hundred people, and you're like, man, it's pretty boring now. So I'm looking around the house. I look at the table, and I swear on my mother's life.
Okay, that's hood talk. You don't have to.
I don't care if it's hood talk or not. That's how I talk. Look, it just makes it serious.
Convincing? Does that make it convincing because you swear on your mom? Does that make it
Convincing myself because there's nothing else I'd swear on.
But you
that's
don't have
more.
to swear to get people to see your opinion. You don't have to say all that. That's hood
well,
talk.
it's just for myself.
That's
you know.
Don't hood talk.
There's nothing that I could swear on.
You don't have to swear to be persuasive. You don't have to swear.
Well, that's just how I talk. You know. Now let me finish my story.
Well, tell the story.
Anyway, I look over there.
Articulate.
This shit's like this. It does that for like, I'm like, Dad, look. He's not looking. You know, he's like ADD or something. He's not looking. He's focused on the movie. And then by the time he looks, it's no longer moving.
So what space time was that?
I don't
While
know.
it was moving. What do you think you were doing though? Do you think you were just normally? How could you perceive that?
I couldn't tell you.
So is it possible that you left your body to the point where you had to slightly leave your body to perceive it?
I was still on this. If we're talking the ethers and the third dimensional planes, you know, like as if there was other ones, I felt as if I was still on this plane. But like, I guess you can say it like this. If we're talking that the ether exists and all these other planes exist, for me, it seemed like I was still on the third dimensional plane, but let's say the ether was kind of seeping in a little bit because I still felt like I wasn't transcending this plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still felt like I was in this reality, but that crystal was spinning. So let's just say a little bit of the ether was leaking in and making that crystal spin. But I still felt as if I was in that third dimensional. I was still in this third dimensional plane.
Okay. Well, let's just back up a little bit, because one thing that you I think you misunderstand is you only need a moment to leave your body spiritually, and you only go by moments. See, I think you look at it as a totality, and it's not a totality. Even that moment, you had some moments where you were in a state to perceive that.
I guess if you word it that way, in the moment, I guess I couldn't say I was focusing on this entire third dimensional reality. I was really, once I saw that spinning.
Okay.
I guess I could say that I was really focusing on that. So I couldn't exactly say that I was completely in this little third dimensional reality.
Okay.
I guess if you call it the ether, I guess I could say I was in the ether for a couple seconds. I don't really believe in that. I don't believe in the ether, but yeah, I did see that crystal spinning, you know.
So you had to be resonant.
But I wasn't focusing on everything else around me, so I really couldn't say that I was in this little third dimensional.
Okay.
You know.
I got another topic. What about anime? You seem to be pretty knowledgeable.
I watch a lot of anime.
Okay, so why does anime use so much Western symbolism, like the one-eyed?
All right.
Why do you think that is?
You're making a point off that the little Western symbolism is like what's that word that commercials use to like convince you of something, but you don't think about it at the moment, but like later on in your life you'll think about it.
Okay.
What's that word?
Acid trip? Like
no.
Acid flashback?
No.
You know, you take acid.
It's something that you don't notice, but is noticeable.
Subconscious, like.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like subconscious. What's the word for that? All right. I don't care about the word.
Right. Exactly.
It's like something that's subconscious that you notice, but you really don't notice why you're conscious. You know.
Okay.
You're trying to say that those little Western images are something that they put in there that your subconscious will notice, but you consciously won't notice. But later on in your life, it will affect it. But for me, no. It's like it's entertaining. Like I would like to see someone like from an anime standpoint. Good animes are like a main character for me that's pretty strong. That's like for him to be pretty strong. Most of the anime, he'll be like half demon, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that like I watched lots of anime, and a lot of anime people are half demon, you know. And since they're half demon or full demon, they're really strong, you know.
Sure.
But I'm not saying since they're half demon, I'm like, oh, I wish I was half demon so I would be super sick. Like and I'd be able to beat up people and I'd be super cold main character anime style. But that's what they portray in the anime. I don't wish that I was like half demon, like evil, you know?
But what you were saying when you started, you said out, you're talking about cult. What they show in Japanese anime is Western occult.
All right.
In large numbers, almost every show. And I wonder why. I wonder is like, are they allowed because that's the only way they can spell? Because it's all spelling. But why? It's almost in all of them though.
You said large number cult, right? You said a large number cult, right?
Large number of a cult.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, almost all the anime you see has a cult, Western occult.
Yeah, you said that right. Okay. Well, look, but for me, all this like spiritual stuff you're talking about, and all these people who follow that and watch you, is like not large number, but sub number occult. Like you may perceive the anime as a cult, right? Because it may like catch your eye, or like some things you're like, oh yeah, that's some occult stuff, right? But for me, the things you're talking about on here is occult stuff for me too.
So when I talk about football, that's a cult too?
No, I'm not talking about it.
What's the difference?
No. Some of it, like those that rim shit. What do you call it?
Basket manipulation.
Basket manipulation. That seems like some. I'm not saying that's a cult, but I'm saying that's just some. It's just some gray area where you're just like, I don't know about that.
Though it's become a movement.
I don't know about that.
A lot of my work from that has become a movement.
You may perceive the anime as an occult stuff, but I also perceive this as some occult stuff. That's why everything that you see in this reality may be a perception, but everybody's perception is different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but I mean, I'm saying from studying occult, studying sigils, and I mean really studying this thing, and seeing it applied, I don't understand why these people in Japan, like when I really think we should do an investigation.
Okay, look.
No, wait, let me get this out. I think we really should do an investigation to look at when did their type of animation add Western occult science.
All right, think about this. Look, we can both agree on this. Europeans, I gotta word this in the right way. You know, Europeans, since the dawn, you know, everybody has like as a primal species. All humans as a primal species, no matter where they came from, we're very behemoth, like, you know.
In which ways?
Like violent, very violent, like, you know.
Why did they have to be violent?
Let me. Can I finish my statement?
Okay.
All right, but like, it seems that Western Europeans, or not Western, just Europeans. I don't know what areas Europeans came from that were like the violent, were like they enslaved people. They went to America, you know, enslaved the natives. Then once they enslaved the natives, they went to Africa, enslaved those people, and brought them to America. They were very barbaric, you know. I can't argue with that fact, but look, my point was, you're saying, where did Japan learn this occult from? And like, you're kind of like overlooking the fact that the people who enslaved the natives and then enslaved the Africans and then brought the Africans to Europe, and you're like, how could the Japanese get that occult shit? If the Europeans could enslave the Native Americans and then enslave the Africans and bring them to America, not only did they enslave them in Africa, but they enslaved them and brought them from their homeland to a whole different continent. What makes you think that Europeans couldn't put their little, let's say their little sigils and little occult ship into their anime? Because the anime that you watch is dubbed, right?
Yeah.
You don't watch any Japanese subbed, right? You watch English dubbed. And English dubbed is dubbed by English people. Like the person who dubbed Naruto is a girl who's on the show that's called Labras. That Natalie watches.
But that has nothing to do with it.
That has everything to do
with it. That doesn't have to do with the filming.
No, listen.
The symbols are the symbols in any language. Right? There's no American symbol version.
No. But if you go back to original anime like Astro Boy and like all those Inuyasha and all those original ones, they didn't have those little original sigils that you talk about, Eastern like European occult stuff, right?
So you're saying there was
Like
less
David,
in
no,
Astro Boy
no.
Speed Racer?
No, I'm saying, all right. So let's say Speed Race came out in Japanese, right?
Well, no, Astro Boy would have been first.
All right, Astro Boy came out, right?
Astro Boy would have been first.
And then they English dubbed it, right? Which means the European people or the people dubbed it in English, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once they dubbed it in English, like they're getting to know the Japanese people, right? And then they release a new anime, and then they dub that one, and they get to know them more.
The next one,
and then they get to know it more and more and more. And then the English people, like, since they've dubbed so many animes for them, they're like, yo, you should throw this in there. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I think our American Western audience would like this, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think that some of this influence could come from the people
who let's kind of let's travel back how the anime came. So you had Astro Boy, but then you had Kimba, where the Lion King. You had Kimba the White Lion. You know, that's where they got the Animal King. You know, they sued the people. They sued Disney and won. It's like, you copied our shit.
Yeah, and they also sued them for Hunger Games because they copied the movie Battle Royale.
Well, yeah. And then what you had is, as I mentioned, the original Speed Racer was probably the first national hit where everybody loved Speed Racer.
Hold on. Let's read some comments. Don't you think you should read? You have been neglecting your fans.
No, I think people are just listening. I bought some electric Ladyland. I like it's 1 a.m. Yeah, it's 1:30 here. Prince was a time traveler. 17 days and a piano bangs. Brian, what's happening? Yeah, go ahead. Right there.
Okay. The Mandela Effect. Brian Johnson. Old Man Game. I Googled what 3 things fire needs. I got oxygen, fuel, and heat. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the 3 things. Okay, yeah, oxygen, because fire can't live without oxygen, so how could fire exist before oxygen exists? That's
but
what
in
I was
other
talking
dimensions, the other dimensions don't require that.
Well, if you study quantum mechanics, you would know that
definitely doesn't need all that.
No, listen. Because if you study quantum mechanics, right,
mm-hmm.
it talks about multiverse, right?
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of universes. You could say, if the multiverse theory was true, that there's a whole bunch of universes where those 3 things were literally irrelevant. That, like, in 3 universes, fire could need water, fucking cloth, and anything else to exist. But in this universe that we live in, fire needs oxygen, fuel, and heat, like that person said.
Okay. So that's the only way it can exist, though.
Yes. So how could fire exist before oxygen?
How does fire come out of the sun?
Because the sun is not our planet. The fire could not exist on our planet without oxygen, fuel, and heat. But you want to know what the sun has? Sun has
hydrogen.
Oxygen, fuel, and heat. How do you make hydrogen? What is oxygen made out of?
I don't know. Tell me.
I'm looking up. Because it's mixed with hydrogen.
Anyway,
hydrogen, yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is, see, you're very one-sided on looking at fire, because there is, like,
that person just said he
Googled. Okay, but what I'm saying is, in a spiritual way of moving, fire does not
I can't argue.
But fire does not just exist in that manner. The same. Let me even go further. The same as water. Water doesn't exist in just one thing. Water is probably even more changeable than anything.
Water can exist in any climate as long as it has like an ozone layer that can protect it from escaping to outer space.
Yeah.
So water can exist significantly more than fire. Water can exist if it's a super cold climate. It turns to ice, and if that climate heats up, it turns back into water. And if the climate heats up and it has a layer that protects the gases from escaping, it can turn into water vapor and then get trapped up there. Even if it doesn't get trapped up there, it'll go into space and then get taken into a comet.
A comet is water. Yeah. Water that can travel. A comet is water that can travel.
It's like.
But my point is, it's like this, and I haven't said this in a long time. So one thing, like when you get into flat plane, and this is relevant for what our conversation. So people say we live in a spherical reality. In a lot of ways, we do.
You believe in the flat.
But listen, no. Let me say this. But one thing that you're missing, and one thing that applies now that can happen, and it is a possibility, just like the Borg cube, if our planet had to go into a dimension that required it to do that, our planet has the ability to do that.
Here's my cool triangle thing that I saw move.
So our planet could turn into that, exactly like the Borg.
What do you mean my triangle thing?
What are you talking about?
The thing that I saw move like a year ago or something.
I don't know. Oh,
That thing that spun.
the generator. And so so what I'm saying is this planet can adapt to another dimension. And these others change as we go through other dimensions. Everything can change, and it has other forms.
Okay, look. But you see, majority of us are not traveling through dimensions. We are in the same dimension. We are on Earth. We are in the same plane, the third dimension. So that little speech is flawed because majority of us cannot travel through dimension to dimension, like you say, So it does not matter.
But it does not mean it doesn't exist.
I told you in the beginning of our debate that I am only arguing our third dimensional plane, the one that we are coexisting in together.
Okay. But I didn't agree. This is my show, so I can kind of
That's true.
I want to take
you can take it where you want to take it, but I will not be able to argue with you on something.
And I don't really want to argue. We can just debate.
Well, I'm not argue, but I will not debate with you.
Okay, let's change it. You want to hear a story?
I will not debate with you on something that I have no information about, because for all I know, you could have made it up, So I won't be able to debate on some other dimension.
Okay, do you want to hear a story?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll listen.
So yesterday, I hit some crumble, and I go up into Costco's. And so, I have my plastic mask on, I'm walking around. And all of a sudden, I know Costco workers are following me. And so I'm like, I ain't really think nothing of it.
Why
so
do you have a Costco card? I thought she had a Sam's Club.
No, she works at Costco now.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, it's Costco card.
And so these people are following me around. And so after about the fifth aisle, following me around. Again, remember, like I did one of these right before I went in. So I'm looking to get some munchies. So at the fifth aisle of this
munchies at a good budget.
At Costco's, yeah.
At a good budget, you get like 50 munchies for $1.
So after they followed me around for so long, about 6-7 aisles, this is about a mile. We done walked in there and they still follow me. You know what I did? I walked up to them and I said, "Hey, are you following me because I'm high?" They said, "No, we're about to close. We want you to hurry up." So yeah, I was tripping, y'all. I was tripping. I was in the mall today, and it was like did one and went in the mall, and man, it was like this ski dude that skied off the shirt. I'm like, damn, I gotta buy that shirt. I saw him ski off the shirt. I went and bought that shit right off. Like, damn, maybe he can do it again.
Oh shit!
So I was having fun. I was having fun.
Where was I at?
You didn't go. I told you I was going.
Sounds like you seeing niggas ski off shirts and shit. That's a game.
So I had a good time. I had a good time. Would some of the Japanese have anything from the Nazi regime, the Third Reich?
Whoa, let me read it.
Closed off for 300 years, wondering on their cultural preservative. You know what happened is after World War II, that's when I think the occult stuff came. Because again, yes, they were very closed off. China was too. A lot of the East was closed off to them. And but again, when the manufacturing they totally destroyed manufacturing in Japan. That's one thing they did totally. And they rebuilt it. Again, in the 60s, everything came from Japan. It wasn't until Nixon opened up diplomatic relations with China and before they impeached him or before he resigned.
Was he talking about the 300 year?
No, he was saying these countries were closed off. They wasn't really dealing with the West like that.
Are they saying like the World War I wasn't 300 years ago?
No, but China had like after the Opium Wars when they put out Britain, and Britain
people were doing opium.
Yeah, China
before we had like good contact with like Asia.
When they first went in to conquer China, they got everybody in China addicted to opium.
Yeah, because that's where they conquered. That's where a majority of the opium. What's the plant called? It's the plant the poppy seeds is what they get the opium from, and that's what a lot of the people from Asia were doing.
But it grows all over the world. It grows in Turkey.
Majority in Asia.
It grows in South America.
Well, Asia has one of the biggest populations, so majority of the earth in Asia.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, yeah. But that when they put everything, and they put all the Catholics on.
But that affected Western America.
It didn't really affect
Western
America. It gave England more money because they didn't have to fight people. Everybody was high because everybody, opium make you just like you look up pictures of old
is it
opium.
a stimulus? Is it called a stimulus
No,
or
it's
a
a downer.
depressant?
It's
the downer is called a depressant.
Well, no, it's a pain reliever.
Yeah, depressant.
But a pain reliever.
Depressant.
Like morphine.
No, like Coke is a stimulus. Like Xanax are depressants.
Yeah, but this is for pain. This is
for like pain is a depressant, but for uppers are a stimulus.
Right.
For pain is a depressant.
Well,
there's one more. I forget what it's called.
But it makes like you look up an opium den. Everybody's laying like look. Remember Wild Bill?
Heroin's a depressant, but like Coke and stuff is a
stimulant.
Like Coke and meth is a stimulus.
But they each have their own
stimulant.
Euphoric. Each of them hit your euphorics.
And your
the same way.
Yeah, like how if you like take acid, then like there's that chemical in your brain, and if you take it once, you can't take it for like a week or so, it won't have the same effect.
Well, we was talking about that.
The dopamines.
The people had flashbacks. Had a flash. Remember, I wrote a story. Like I wrote a little short story about Vanilla Ice.
Permatripper people.
Well, no, like a dude took some acid and he tripped out, but when he tripped out, it made him like every time he heard Ice Ice Baby, he would just start dancing and shit.
Like a permatrip.
Yeah, like but it would be like people have to say you have flashbacks. Like Richard Pryor talks about Joe Frazier, like when he was boxing Ali, he's like after a couple punches, he thought he was like, yeah, he had a Ali flashback. He thought I was Ali for a second. But I want to hit you with some
I'm gonna be right back.
I was reading a little bit about our bodies, and these are some words that really are high resonating words. And there are parts of our bodies, and maybe I'll look the whole thing up, but the words are very strong. We have chemicals in our body that are self-organizing, self-referring, and self-actualization. So do you understand? It's like in our DNA is much more than they're ever telling us. They limit us. Matter of fact, calling it DNA limits its use. This is your own chemical makeup, your own even going in from the quantums to your own quantum makeup and going up. That we have things in our bodies that are an innate code. These are innate codes of the working systems. Now, him and I we're talking about going beyond, but how many of us really go in? Like how many of you can really move your diaphragm? That you still have control of your diaphragm. Now I'm fat, but still I try to control my diaphragm. Like because again, that was the biggest what they don't talk about, and no other really breathing from your diaphragm.
Up top is like up here.
But that was the biggest problem of having relationships with the Europeans. And see, I don't hear a lot of other people talk about this either. As far as one of the problems of not being able to understand is wait, let me say this. Is not being able to understand is the Europeans was chest breathers.
All right.
The Europeans were chest breathers. And the people in the Americas didn't even breathe like that.
All right.
Because we actually breathe in a more natural rhythm where we used everything because the Europeans were more stressed and lived in more filth. They didn't have the full system that was healthy. And so because of the smog already in Europe, they developed that like what we do today.
All right, let me argue this.
Okay.
So you're arguing that this is a yes or no statement right here.
Okay.
A question, not a statement. You're arguing that the Europeans were breathing with their chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Native Americans or Aborigines or whatever you want to call them were breathing with their abdominal at the bottom. What is it called?
Your diaphragm.
Your diaphragm. They were breathing with their diaphragm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're arguing two different lifestyles. So the Native Americans were people that were currently hunting bison and chasing animals.
No.
Look. Humans have one of the strongest endurances of all time, right? And since Europeans have developed muskets, guns that can shoot like hundreds of miles per second, right?
Okay.
At a time, why would that person in Europe have to run versus a person who's using a spear or a bow in America? at the time, we can call it America, in Native American America, right? Versus the people who are in Native America who would have to
really
run
no Native
and throw.
America. There's just America.
Okay, America.
Just America.
Those people
Or
there.
South America.
I'm arguing America. I don't know about South America,
Okay.
but America. Those people that would have to shoot bows or run and stab animals with spears, right?
Okay.
Chasing bison versus people in Europe who are shooting things with muskets, right?
Do you think everybody had muskets?
No. But I'm arguing the fact that nobody in America, like none of the natives in America, had muskets. So they all had to either shoot a bow or run. So that
how many were in Europe though? Do you think?
I'm not arguing the fact. I'm saying that since they would have to run or shoot a bow, that they would have to use their lungs to their fullest extent so that they could catch them. That's just how primal instincts work.
Okay.
It might just be a primal instinct thing.
So you're saying there was lazier people, but they still worked.
No. That's how they. What's that thing that all them black people say that because they grew up in the hood that they were just brought to injustice.
Okay.
What's that?
I've never heard
It's
that.
got a product of your environment. Exactly.
Okay.
A product of your
Well, you know
environment.
they had cannons. They had cannons
listen.
before they had muskets.
The Europeans, they were a product of their environment. Since they grew up and lived, or they were living when muskets and stuff were mass sold, they were a product of their environment. They wouldn't have to run around and chase animals. They could shoot them. They could literally sit in. That's how hunting works.
You're wrong in saying that
No.
they were massively sold. They really weren't.
Muskets were massively sold.
Up until what year?
If I'm saying, like, let's say 3 years before they came to America to take the
Columbus and them didn't have muskets. It wasn't until Cortez came. Cortez came in 1520. That's when the first muskets. And they only had for 500
How did they
people.
overtake the natives?
But listen.
Who were in the thousands when Christopher Columbus was in the hundreds? How did they overtake 1,000 people if they didn't have muskets?
They didn't. Columbus and them didn't have muskets. They had cannons.
Okay, that's significant. A cannon is significantly more firepower than a spear or a bow. What is a bow or a spear gonna do when a cannonball hits your house and explodes on impact and burns down some stuff? Huh?
But you said the main point. How did they sleep?
What?
How did they sleep and not be totally attacked?
What? I never said anything about.
No, I'm just saying that's what doesn't
I'm
make
trying
sense.
to speak and you kept cutting me off.
No, I'm saying if you come over to the country and you start firing your cannon at people, the people gonna get mad eventually. But you, as a unit of only 500 people, how do you sleep when you could tens of the thousands come at you?
What I'm saying is they're a product of their environment. So they do not have, the Europeans are a product of their environment. The natives are a product of their environment. So the Europeans don't have to run because they have muskets and stuff when they're hunting, right?
They didn't always.
Very little Europeans. I don't even know if very little Europeans are shooting with bows and arrows, right? To kill animals. If you're a real hunter and you're good at it and you're making a living out of it, you're going to invest in a musket. It doesn't matter if it's mass sold, but you will invest in that.
But what
so that
year?
You can,
what year? The muskets really didn't come until about the 1650s, 1670s.
A year before they invade America.
So
before.
So if you're talking about when the Pilgrim area came.
Okay, look, now let me finish.
That was a bigger.
I'm speaking a year before they invade America, right?
Okay,
a year before Christopher Columbus, right? So if you're a good hunter, you're going to invest in a musket, right?
But it's only one shot. And
it doesn't matter if it's one shot.
One shot and got it. I mean, you know how long it takes to reload?
Are you telling me they're going to shoot one shot and then chase after it?
But I'm saying as a fighting instrument.
No, listen.
And you only got one shot.
You keep interrupting me.
I'm just telling
you. Keep interrupting.
Technology.
Listen. Are you going to shoot one shot and then after that you're just going to run after him and throw a spear at him or shoot a bow at him? No, you're not going to do that.
You pull your sword up.
No. You're going to reload your musket because a musket is way better
but what if
than
you
a
don't
sword.
Have time? What if you don't have time to load it?
These are semantics. You're arguing semantics.
No, I'm saying possibilities.
No, those are semantics.
Not under stress.
Do you know what a semantic is?
We're talking about under stress during fighting. Are
you interrupting me? I barely interrupt you. If I no, listen.
You said you barely. Okay, go ahead.
If I interrupt you, you're like, wait, let me finish my stuff, and I'll let you finish it, right?
All right.
So you're gonna let me finish mine? Thank you. Right. If you grew up and muskets came out, then that means that you're not out here chasing animals. You're going to reload your musket. You're not going to pull your sword out like on guard and go chase the animal down. Okay. You're going to reload your musket because you know your musket's reliable. You know that if you hit an animal in the head with your musket, that it's going to kill them because humans are the most intellectual beings on Earth.
But
right?
when you hunt, you don't have to be in shape to hunt.
See, it goes again. Look, all right, I want that to be known, right?
Okay.
That they have muskets, right?
All right.
But the Indians have spears and bows, right? So say they miss with their bow. Say they have 3 arrows on them, right? They miss with all 3 arrows, right? And they have a spear on them. They know that they have to go track that animal down and kill it with the spear. Meaning they have to run for a while because animals aren't going to just jog lightly.
Okay.
Humans have the most endurance out of any mammal in the entire Earth.
Not really true, but
That is what mammal has what animal has a higher endurance?
A jaguar can run damn near 70 miles an hour.
Now, I'm not talking how fast. I'm talking endurance.
You go 70 miles an hour. Look how far you go.
I'm not
So I
talking.
don't care how much endurance
I'm talking
you have.
endurance.
If I can go 3 miles at 70 miles an hour, I'm going to be way down there.
All right.
During you running.
Say you can run 70 miles an hour.
Okay.
Twice, right? That's your top speed. You can run your top speed twice a day, and after you run that, you're donezo because you're running that top speed out of fear and adrenaline. And after you run that top speed 2 times, you're done. You're tapped out, right?
Okay.
But say a human can run 20 miles an hour all day because of its endurance. That's not its top speed, but that's just not 20 miles. Let's say 15. It can run 15 miles per hour and its top speed because let's just say that's the Native Americans, like just regular casual hunting an animal. Natives. Okay, Americans.
Natives lived in the West.
No, native is a person who lives in the land first.
No.
So they are native to that land.
No.
So when I say the term native to that land, what does that mean to you?
That means the people that came over later, like in the 1800s,
No, that's native.
and settled in the West.
Okay.
Settled some parts of
We can
Georgia.
agree to disagree. This has nothing to do with my statement.
Well, that's what.
All right.
called
Look,
natives.
they have their endurance. They can run.
Matter of fact, they're called natives.
Okay. Look,
Gangs of New York, they called the people that.
I don't argue with that.
Natives.
That's irrelevant.
It's not. It's
It
totally
is. That is
relevant.
literally
That's what a
semantics.
native is. That's what a native was first
Okay,
called.
sure. Okay, sure. Americans. I'll just say Americans because it's triggering you.
Okay.
Look, Americans can run 10 miles per hour.
Can you run 10 miles per hour?
Do I look like I grew up hunting fucking bison? Do I look like I grew up hunting bison?
Are
and
you in
chasing
shape?
them? I'm pretty in shape.
But you can't run 10 miles an hour.
No, because I don't grow up chasing bison. But
Okay.
they did.
Who did?
The Americans.
Not all of them. Not the people living in the East Coast. They didn't.
I'm talking about the people that were running chasing bison.
The people lived in the Midwest.
Let's talk about the Midwest, yeah. The ones that were running around chasing bison.
Because not all of them did that.
See, why do you keep
just
interrupting
saying.
me?
You
Am I interrupting you?
You're trying to say a whole thing is one thing, and you got to be specific.
Yeah, you're not specific. Can I finish my statement? You keep interrupting me.
Finish.
All right. Look, they're chasing bison, right? If they do that every day to get food, not every day, let's just say every week or so, you know,
Okay.
I'm gonna be broad for you because you like to be a broad ass person. You know, you're talking about the whole country and
Because
stuff.
every country area had
All right,
different
so I'm gonna be
accents.
broad.
You're saying
Let's say every week. Let's say every week. I don't watch
Cowboys.
Cowboys. What was the last?
How do you know they like bison?
Why do you keep interrupting me?
How do you
Stop
know that?
talking.
Okay, go ahead.
God damn.
Go ahead.
Anytime I say something, you want to speak.
It is my show, though.
All right, look.
Okay.
They're chasing the bison, right?
Who's chasing bison?
The Americans.
Okay.
The Americans, right?
Okay. Go
They
ahead.
chase the bison every day. That's how
Okay.
they get their food, right?
All right.
If they have to chase them on foot, they're not shooting shit that goes 200 miles per hour, right?
Okay.
They have to chase them, camp in a spot, throw a spear, shoot a bow, right?
Okay.
That means they have to use their lung to their furthest potential, right?
Okay.
Versus the other people who can just camp in a bush and shoot something from 300 miles from like 200 miles away.
Not
right.
200 miles, maybe 300 yards, 200 yards.
300 yards, 200 yards. I don't know the
Something like
distance of a musket. You know, it probably has very, very, very high drop rate because it's not a rifled barrel. You know,
Well, not to a certain point.
yeah, it's
But-
not rifled.
but-
Yeah, let me finish. All right.
But let me add one thing you don't understand about hunting. Because to hunt, you kind
When
of
was the
got to
last
be in
time you
shape.
hunted? When was the last time you hunted?
Back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. You told me you hunted one time and never hunted again.
Yeah.
So that does not count.
Okay.
You're building your bias off of one thing you did one time in your entire life of being 60 years old. So that does not count. That is irrelevant.
I think I'm 6 years old, but okay.
You're like 58, 59.
Yeah.
That's damn near 60.
Okay.
And I'm rounding up. That's like 2 years I'm
In
rounding
the
up.
80s, I wasn't 6. I was older.
No, I'm saying 6D.
Oh, okay.
6D.
Well, no. I know people that hunt, and you have to be somewhat athletic to hunt and stalk and be able to track.
I never said Europeans weren't athletic.
Well, I'm saying that you have to consider that too. So it wasn't just they had these guns and they didn't move around.
I literally
did
said
as well.
they would move around. How hunting works is you move around, you got your little binoculars, or you just watch with your bare eyes and look like, yo, I see this deer travels to this stream and then goes back to wherever he came from. And I've seen him do this twice. So I'm going to camp this bush where I can get a clear shot of this deer that travels to the stream and back. And I'm going to have a clear shot right there.
Okay.
And you're just going to wait in that bush till you see that same deer you saw do that 2 days in a row, travel there and back, right?
Okay.
And you're just going to camp there till you see him travel there.
What are they doing?
Go ahead.
What are you chasing? That ain't like the dogs. Are you done?
No.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, like I was saying.
You camp out. And
Yeah.
While
You don't really have to do too much running. All you got to do. All you got to do is camp out and watch. A good hunter doesn't do running. A good hunter observes, sees the pattern of the animal, and then once he finds the pattern of the animal, he camps in a spot that he knows the animal will go. And then once he sees that, once he gets the pattern of the animal, he will camp in a spot that he knows the animal will go to because he watched the pattern of it. So he doesn't do too much running versus an American, as you say, which has to chase down the animal, throw a spear at it, shoot a bow at it, because a bow is not nearly as efficient as a musket.
You can shoot more at one time, though.
You have more fire rate, but you don't have more firepower.
Sometimes.
And it doesn't have nearly as much accuracy.
No, you'd be more accurate with a bow.
There's no sights on a bow.
Don't need sights. It's practice.
I guess. Are we talking an expert shooter?
No,
wait, let me finish. Are we talking an expert musket shooter and an expert bow shooter?
No, we're talking about.
Are we generalizing both of them?
No, we're saying as a
I'm
skill, as a skill of shooting the bow.
Answer this question. Are we generalizing both of them, or are we talking experts in both crafts?
No. What I'm saying is, as a hunter with a bow, you would
no. That creates
as a hunter.
No, you're creating too many variables. We have to make these equal. Are we talking an expert with a bow and a musket, or are we talking about
wrong? Because you're missing the cultural use of the bows. Like if you study the mongrels could live on their horses. Most of their lives they lived on the horses, and they were expert at shooting bows on their horses.
Okay, I'm from America. I mean,
well, I'm just saying.
No, listen.
You're not looking at it as a hunting skill to survive.
Listen.
You would be an expert because you have to have the skill to survive. So everyone would be an expert.
If we do not make these a specific variable,
because
they can go off topic. Listen, let me speak.
If you're missing too many animals, your family gonna go hungry. So you got to be an expert with the bow or the spear. You just saying that just do no. These people were probably the best.
I'm trying to make these equal. You are trying to make these unequal.
No, I'm not.
What I am saying is,
as a culture, people getting muskets.
No. Athletic talent has nothing to do with culture. You could be born with a fucked up eye, right? You could be born and not be able to see out of one eye, and that has nothing to do with your culture. We are trying to eliminate this variable of athleticism. And we are doing this. An expert shooter with a musket and an expert shooter with a bow. That makes both of these sides of the argument equal. Would you like to argue that? Or would you like to argue a general skill with a musket and a general skill with a bow? Meaning you know how to shoot a bow, you know how to aim a bow. You know how to shoot a musket, you know how to aim a musket.
But in both cases, you would have to be an expert to eat.
There are two sides of the scenario.
If you're missing a lot of, first of all, muskets are expensive to make them. You got to get the iron.
These are semantics. Do you not know what the word semantics means?
No.
These are stupid specifics that you made.
They have to be considered.
No. Look, I am arguing the fact. You are trying to bring up some stupid shit.
They would both have to be experts.
All right, that's fine. That's what I've been trying to ask you the whole time.
I've said it about 10 times.
Differentiating.
I said it 10 times.
You've been pushing it to your point. You're saying the only way you could use a bow is if you were expert because you had to feed your family. And to feed your family, you'd have to grow up an expert.
I was trying to give you a way to say to come on in.
No.
You're still outside.
No.
I was trying to help you come in.
All right, so we're at an equal ground now because you leveled with me, right?
Okay.
Both of them are experts, right?
Right.
You're telling me a person who is a expert shooter with a bow that travels at, let's say, half the miles per second as a musket is better than a person who can shoot a musket.
Shoot a bow.
Musket. You're telling me somebody who is an expert at a bow is better than someone who's an expert at a musket?
In some cases, people can shoot 10 arrows compared to one shot.
How far do you know how far a bow can shoot?
Sometimes you can hit 100 yards with a bow.
What are they using? What are they using for elasticity? What are they using to shoot it?
A lot of different substances, strings, a lot of different strings they've used.
Like fucking.
But most of the time they were type of leather, and they would treat it.
All right. Why aren't we using bows to this day to actually hunt?
They do. There's a bow season, a hunt season.
Yeah, there is a hunt season for bows.
Bows. Yeah.
Yeah. But bullets can shoot significantly farther and do significantly more damage. Why are we not using bows? Why are we not using bows more than guns? Can you tell me why?
Well, that's a skill that people don't have anymore.
Because no. It doesn't matter if it's skill.
It's easier to learn how to shoot than to shoot a bow.
Because
it's a lot easier.
A gun does significantly more damage than a bow, travels significantly farther than a bow, has significantly more accuracy than a bow.
Yeah.
Because a bow has fletchlings on it, the little fletches in the back and stuff, which is controlled by wind, and has significant downfall if the weather isn't right. But if you shoot a gun, it still has downfalls if the weather isn't right, because the bullet's traveling and the wind is pushing on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And causes it to travel off, right?
All right.
But it's not causing the back end to travel off versus an arrow, because the fletch is in the back. And say if the wind is coming from this way and pushes the back of it, it spins off, right? Because it doesn't have nearly as much force as a bullet.
Right. Well, the thing I don't understand is those muskets weren't. Again, you could shoot 10 arrows to one musket shot.
Yeah, because they weren't rifled in; they were black powder, so you had to stuff them.
And it doesn't make the stories don't make sense. I mean, really,
I can agree with that.
The slaughters later made sense, but the early victories
I can
didn't make
agree
sense.
with that, because look,
if they miss more than once, they earn the name No Hunter. So the plains, homie 43, nature used for everything. Only humans think things are junk.
Yeah.
An arrow is more efficient than a ball spinning in the air. That's what Crazy Sarge says. Your son is a feisty when J.R. Shmoo says. Thank you, J.R. Shmoo.
Right.
The gun still isn't as accurate as a 16-inch gun on a ship is a cannon. Yeah, cannons are more accurate.
Well, obviously, cannons can be more accurate because they are bigger. It's
Columbus and them did have
it's like you have more accuracy as hitting a softball as you do a baseball, because a softball is bigger, Yeah. Exactly. But
and not moving.
Can you read that one more time for me? I had a point that I need to get back to it.
An arrow is more efficient than a spinning ball, or
no, go back up further.
We need more of that black folks community. Most DNA is junk. He's trying to say Europe was far more advanced than Americans.
Yes. Europe was far more advanced.
Not everything. You have to play friends, take control over many people. They miss more than once. They earn the name no hitter.
All right, yeah, they missed more than once, right?
Right.
This is my point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say Christopher Columbus came over, right? Originally, when I first started school, when you were starting school, we had Christopher Columbus Day, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to say that Christopher Columbus captured America. Okay, give me a rough population of what you think America was before the Europeans came over.
Some numbers say high as 100 million.
All right, 100 million, right? How could Christopher Columbus came over the three ships, the fucking St. Mary,
three ships the first time.
The three ships, right?
He made 3 different trips.
All right, let's say those 3 ships came over with muskets. Let's say they were in their best accuracy, right? They had 3 lines up front, then 3 lines behind.
They didn't have them. They didn't have.
They didn't have lines.
They didn't have muskets.
They didn't have muskets.
No, it was 1490.
What did they have?
In them. They had cannons. They had cannons.
All right, okay. They could.
Cortez had muskets, but they only had like 5 muskets.
Let's say the natives were shooting at them, right? The natives were getting fucked up, right? And they're like, damn, these cannons are fucking us up, right?
Yeah.
But how many cannonballs, if there's 100 million people, how many cannonballs would Christopher Columbus have to eliminate 100 million, or even significantly split them in half? Because the only fighting chance they had was in their fucking ship, like 100 meters away from land, so that these natives couldn't swim to them and get onto their ship and fuck them up, So they would have to have a whole bunch of cannonballs, and they would have to be really far away from shore so that people couldn't just run up and climb onto the ship.
But they had to come on land. They eventually came on land.
They eventually came on land.
And
That's my point.
how were they able to sleep though? Because okay, say you fight.
They could like military tactics.
But look at it. Look at it like this. Okay, so Columbus comes on with say at the most I think it was 300 people. Okay, so 300 people.
Nothing to 100 million.
300 people have swords and they have armor. Okay, they do have swords and armor. They have some light cannons. All right. How do you fight? So okay, I have 300 people.
We're arguing the same point.
No,
so I know, to the camera. We're arguing
so how do you have 300 people and you are facing 20,000 people that just mainly have spears, obsidian, knives, and stuff? They do have types of shields. So I send 5,000 at them. I've sent 5,000 at 300, and they got some type of spear and stuff, and all they got is metal swords. 5,000 against 300.
At first, they would be able to fight them off with the cannons. Like, look, let's look at like primal animals. Like when you shoot like a gunshot or something that's really loud, a primal animal will like run away. Like, what the fuck was that? You know? And you do that a couple times, and then like, I don't know. Maybe this is a hypothetical. Maybe they shot the cannon at them, right? Mm-hmm. And they got really shook because, you know, like where they're from, they don't hear no fucking boom shit like that, like a cannon getting fired. And fucking, let's say it hit somebody and blew that person to smithereens, blew them up. Mm-hmm. They were done for. And they look at that person like, damn, I don't know about this, right? Would put them in a panic state, right? But that panic state couldn't have made them where they would lose a war. Because, like, let's put Vietnam. Let's do Vietnam versus U.S. Vietnam had significantly lower numbers than us, right? Vietnam
was what?
In World War, what was it? Vietnam War?
Yeah, we were in Vietnam.
Yeah,
so they had more of them.
They had more of them?
They're in their own country.
All right, yeah. But we had a higher military force, right? We had a significantly higher
more
military.
Advanced.
We had
they had more people, though.
It doesn't matter if they had more people. Let's say you got 100 people with fucking fists and we got 100 people with assault rifles. Those 100 people are nothing, right?
But the Russians gave them everything.
It doesn't matter if they gave them everything. We still had significantly more because the Russians aren't going to give them their prime shit. They're going to give them their secondary shit.
No,
like their shit that they can still fight back with. Like they're going to give them like old AKs and shit, but they're not going to give them high tech shit. They didn't give them.
They gave them SAM missiles that can shoot down jets.
Okay,
that was the top of the line.
Russia probably had fucking nukes. Russia probably had nukes, but they were giving them a shit that could shoot down shit. But Russia had stuff that could shoot down countries. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe not.
But they weren't giving them their high tech stuff.
Let me tell you a story.
And we're getting off topic.
I know, but let me tell you a story that kind of went to what you were saying. So there was this dude that went on this planet.
My ass.
And yeah, that ain't comfortable. But this dude goes onto this planet, and he
No, wait. Someone called me feisty. You know,
but this guy goes onto this planet.
I'm not feisty. That's some female shit.
And
I just want to wait. Let me feisty. No, don't call me feisty. that shit's weird. Now I'm not feisty. I'm a grown ass man. No,
you're a young man.
I'm a young man. Don't call me feisty. I just want to reiterate. Please don't call me feisty.
We won't call you feisty.
I don't like that. That's weird.
Okay. So anyway, this guy goes on this planet. Mm-hmm. And there's the type of dogs on the planet. And guess what the guy got to defend himself? He got a laser gun.
What is a laser gun?
He's got a laser gun where he just
shoots through people?
It shoots through these dog-like things.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he is just fucking these dog-like things up. Mm-hmm. But he noticed that the dog-like things they never stopped attacking him. It was like it didn't matter, no matter how many of them he shot, they still kept attacking him. So after a while, he didn't think his laser made any sense. Why are you doing all that?
So I can put the other chair in.
Why not just use that one right there?
What?
You got people living under us, and you just dropped that big shit.
They're not home. I just looked outside when I came in.
Why are you doing all that?
So I can fit this chair in there. There's not enough space.
So anyway. So this guy is laser killing these things. It's going to be out of focus. It's too far. It's going to be out of focus. Like, this is pre-production shit.
I would like to scoot in with this chair. I don't want to sit on the stool anymore.
Okay. So anyway, the guy is there the guy finds out that he could.
You look taller than me.
The things never stop attacking him, you know? So he lives there for a year and he still can't figure out why the things would never stop attacking him. So he's lasering them and they still won't stop attacking him. So you know what he did? He made a bow and arrow. And so the next day, one of them things came up. He popped one of the asses with the bow and arrow. And the thing ran away. And so he started popping the asses with the bow and arrows. They remembered the pain. When the laser killed them, they never felt pain.
Because they died instantly?
They died instantly. The laser just boom. But when he started hitting them with the bow and arrows, they felt pain. So they stopped staying the fuck away from him because they would remember that last time they fucked with him, he shot that shit at him they didn't like.
It's like that John Wick shit where he's like, yo, tell whoever hired you what I did, you know? It's like leave them the last man alive to let the other people know. So it's not a ghost story.
And so when this dude's like, when his people come, I guess he wrecked his ship on the planet or something. So when his people came, they was like, they saw him shooting at them bugs. They was like, why are you shooting at him? You got the laser gun. And he explained that to them.
The problem with Vietnam was they were used to war and was dug in far before we came about.
Well,
hey, let me read that better. The problem with Vietnam was they were used to war and was dug in before we came about.
Well, to look at the history of Vietnam had fought off China for years. There's a heroine queen in Vietnam that is known for fighting, like going into the ocean, But going into modern history, Vietnam was taken over by Japan during World War II. You know, the Japanese are the only people to defeat the Europeans out of countries.
The Japanese fucked up China too. Well, like in Japan, that's a country of fighters.
Yeah,
there are some real fighters. They fucked up Japan. Japan has currently.
Well, they took it was what 10 million? No, there was 1 billion people in China. And they captured them with 30,000 people.
Currently, Japan has the highest population of any country and the highest spoke language is
China.
That's what I'm talking about. China. Mm-hmm. China has the highest population of any country, and China speaks. The majority of people in China speak Mandarin, and that's the most spoken language in the world because of that. So, like, you got to think, like, damn, like they have the most people in existence to today, and yet Japan fucked them up back then, and they had to have a very high population compared to Japan. But yet Japan fucked them up.
Yeah, they did.
Japan is just a country of warriors.
Yeah,
like the samurai. But the Chinese people turned into. That's where ninja came from, because the Chinese people were they were farmers, right? But then when the Japanese people were attacking, they were using like kama. Mm-hmm. Kama is a sickle, something you use to farm like wheat and shit, right?
Wheat or rice, yeah.
Yeah, but they used that as a weapon and they turned it into something called a kama. Mm-hmm. It's like a sickle, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a straighter edge and like there's like chains on it so you can swing it and shit, right? Mm-hmm. And like they kind of adapted that and made weapons for that. But like Japanese still messed them up, you know?
Well, the Japanese put the Europeans out of Asia. They beat them all the way to Australia. Yeah. They beat them out of the Philippines.
I might have a bias because of anime, but
they almost took them into Australia. Wasn't if the Americans wouldn't have went into the Pacific, and the Americans really didn't put the full effort in the Pacific until after they beat Germany. And then they put more funds, but at first it was just a holding force.
Probably because they underestimated them because they were such a small country compared to us.
Well, they knew they did the gas embargo that forced them people to go to war to steal the resources because that's what
they did. The fucking the Middle East to steal their oil with the little.
Well, they invented the oil.
I'm not a conspiracist, like I believe you are.
That's
you know?
A spell, no.
But you know that little 9/11 shit. We really benefited from that a lot with the oils and shit, and how we really after that happened, we really came over there. After they did that, after they did 9/11 and bombed our shit, we really went over there and took majority of the oil and shit.
How you know?
What do you mean how I know?
Gas prices still high, so
it doesn't matter if it's still high. Look, think about this. Look, gas prices are high, right? 9/11 happens, right? We go to their country.
Gas prices was low.
All right, look, gas prices are low, right?
And then they went high after they went.
This is like just genius thinking for them, right? Okay. Look, gas prices are low, right?
Yeah.
They bomb us, right? And during all the confusion, right, we're like, oh, fuck them. We're going to go fuck them up. We go to their country, steal all their oil. And then we act like we don't really got any oil. Then the gas prices go up. And then we bring the oil we stole from them to our country and keep the gas prices at that high number. And then we have that high supply of gas, right? That's what they did with diamonds. Diamonds were not really that valuable. And then they fucking stole a whole bunch of them really valuable. It was like one company that's like
De Beers.
Yeah, sure. That one company that took all those diamonds, right, and made them seem valuable, and then we sold them, even though they had a high pile of all those diamonds, and they weren't valuable because they had a whole bunch of them, and they made them seem valuable.
What did they do to make people want diamonds?
I don't know their marketing scheme, but I know they kept a whole bunch of them, right, and only brought a little bit out of them at a time, right, so they would seem valuable.
No, they did a marketing scheme, and they invented the engagement ring.
I don't see it. All right.
They invented the engagement ring.
It's all a marketing scheme, right?
That's what they did. They invented the engagement ring.
We took all the Eastern Europe's, not all of it, but we went over there and took a lot of their oils, right, and made it seem like we didn't have oils, so that people would pay a lot for gasoline and all that stuff, and we just stockpiled it, and we just kept gasoline at high, and we just started bringing increments of gasoline out. Now people are paying a whole bunch for gas.
But the gasoline was invented here in America.
No.
Yes. Where'd they invent gas?
No, not invent gas, but the materials you need to make gas, they needed to go to Eastern Europe. Eastern Africa. No. They needed to go to Eastern Africa to get the materials.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. No, how India has all the coal.
We was doing cars before they went over there to get their. They didn't get oil into the Saudis until like the 40s.
I never said we never had oil. Now did
I? I'm saying oil. They invented that.
But they had an abundance of it. We may have had oil.
We had to go over there and find it and refine it. They didn't have none of that.
This happened in 2001.
No. It happened in like the 40s.
We faked this in 2001, right?
Them refineries.
No, listen. Let me speak.
But what I'm saying is, you got to understand, the refineries and the system was already put up when we talk about 9/11. The systems was already put up by them.
You ready?
Okay.
Look. We did this in 2001. I never said at any point that we had all of our intel gathered in the year 2001. We could have had all of our intel gathered 10 or 20 years ago, right? In like the 60s, the 80s, the 70s, we could have gathered. I'm saying they gathered all their intel up from whenever they found that out, all the way up to 2001, right?
Okay.
And they gathered all the intel, and they're like, damn. We realize they have all of the supplies we need to create an abundance of gasoline, right?
All right.
And then once they had all that information, they could have framed 9/11.
No, they did it themselves.
That's what I just said, framed.
No, they did it themselves. They ain't got to frame. Yeah, they framed people.
They framed.
But the Saudis supposed to be their allies.
I'm saying they framed them to be an scapegoat. So that once they framed them and they were an scapegoat, they could fall back on that. And you're trying to tell me that fucking Eastern Africa had no type of oil, no type of abundance that we needed?
You mean Arabia?
Arabia. Eastern. You're trying to tell me that they had no type of abundance that we needed.
But how does it make sense?
You're telling me that a whole different continent had zero abundance that we needed. They had to have a good abundance of something. Or else we'd have just framed anybody else.
But when the problem is the people they said did it was Saudi Arabians. They were Saudi Arabians.
Who's to say that they couldn't have said it was?
No, that's what they put out there. They put out there that the people they got the names was Saudi Arabians.
You didn't let me finish my statement. You don't even know
Saudi Arabians.
I could have been like Saudi Arabians.
Well, I'm just trying to tell you.
Completely agreed with you on my
next. You skip over a lot of facts.
I could have literally said a Saudi Arabians and then completely agreed with you right after. Okay. But you keep cutting me off. Like I was saying, what makes you think that the Saudi Arabians had nothing that we needed?
Why didn't we attack Saudi Arabia? Why did we attack Iraq? If Saudi Arabia was the dudes who supposedly flew the planes, why did we attack Iraq and Afghanistan?
No.
Because they never found a link.
Hypothetically.
They never found a link to either.
Because no one flew a fucking plane.
But what I'm saying, the propaganda they put out had nothing to do with...
I'm not arguing the propaganda. I'm talking about the resources of the country. I literally said in my first statement that we framed them for the resources so that we could move up the gas prices. And you keep talking about some other stuff.
What are you talking about? What you said they framed the Saudis because that's who they said.
No, I said South America,
Who?
Eastern America, Eastern Africa. I mean, Eastern Africa.
Africa?
Yes, Africa.
When do we go to war with Africa?
That's where they're from.
Who?
Egypt's in Africa. Israel's in Africa. All those countries are in Africa.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's where you're coming from. Okay, technically there.
Exactly. Now that's what I'm talking about.
There really is nothing called Arabia. It's all Africa.
It's all. That's what I'm arguing. It's
okay.
Africa, right?
Okay.
Exactly. So my fact was that they weren't doing it to spite them or anything. I'm saying that I really believe that 9/11 shit was staged. You know, that's why I'm saying it was fake. It was staged so that we could gain their resources. Like their countries were like, what the fuck were they gonna do? You know, like the general. Look. Like, was it last year? Was it last year that we bombed their fucking general?
You spit on me one more time, I'm sock your ass.
Was it last? You want to read that?
No, it did go off. No, it's not touchscreen.
No, you accept risk.
No, yeah, accept risk, yes.
All right. You read your comments real quick. Read your comments.
Quit spitting.
This is real interactive, you know?
Yeah, quit spitting. The problem with Vietnam with the war
skip that.
far before we came in. Opium was the main thing we wanted. Opioids. Yep. We burnt the refineries in Desert Storm. Yep. Then they rebuilt them and gave them back to the newly formed group called OPEC. They might have been even OPEC before because OPEC is a 70s
they burned them
thing.
on like that scorched trial stuff.
OPEC's no. What Hassan did is when the troops started coming in, they wanted to siege the oil refineries. He set them all on fire.
Who? The people from Africa?
Hassan, the one in Iraq.
Yeah, they did that because we went there.
They slowed them down.
And we staged that so that we could get their oil and stuff.
Well, he was saying, he was trying to burn all the oil out, and it was harder
so that
for them.
we couldn't get that because we did that for the resources. That's what I'm trying to argue.
The fate of the conscious world is lying on 8 wind shoulders. Starfleet, that's funny. We hit countries in a certain order as laid out by the CIA, getting the different countries to grow the poppies.
Holy shit, 24 people are listening to us?
That is like very disrespectful saying to call this disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Be disrespectful. Bet?
I don't know, that's just how I see it.
Well, I'm saying you miss a lot of
how would you like me to phrase it?
I'm just saying you miss a lot of the facts about the certain areas. It's players in these areas, and there was a lot involved. Because again, the story made no sense to tack.
No. I want to talk about prefixes that I need you to state some prefixes that you want to call it.
Call what?
I see it as a call. I need you to tell me the prefix.
How is it?
It's
a whole bunch of what do I do to generate that? How do I generate that?
A body of people that believe in.
Have I ever asked anybody to believe?
No, I never said you asked it to.
Okay, go ahead.
But I perceive it as that. And the majority of belief builds up on perception.
Okay.
So I would like you to tell me what you perceive this as. Because I perceive it as a cult. Okay. So I would like you to tell me what you perceive it as. And I will use your prefixes to talk to them and you.
Okay. Well, a lot of what I do is
no. I just want the prefixes. I don't want to hear a story. I just want what do you consider all this? What would you like me to call you?
There's 2 parts of it. That's my
all right. I want to hear your part, and I want you to tell me their part.
Okay, my part is I bring a lot of different information.
I don't care what you bring.
It's not just one thing.
I want to hear your prefixes. I don't care.
That is the prefix. It's not one thing. So you
want me to call you bring a lot of things?
But it's like this. There are a group of people that tune in.
What do you call those group of people?
Listen. There are a group of people that tune in for the sports and my thinking about sports and my history of sports. Now, is that a sports occult?
No.
What's the difference?
Sports is an entertainment. So that is literally beyond this point.
And so then there are people that listen because they want to know more about crystals.
All right. I would like to know
what is that called?
People that are I would like to know what you consider. I would like to know what you consider yourself.
Just a person. A spiritual person.
A spiritual person, right?
Spiritual person.
And I would like to know what you consider your following.
I don't think I have any.
What do you consider your following? If you have 24 people watching your 3-hour stream They are a following.
And how do we know it's the same 20 people? We don't.
I never said it was the same 20 people.
So how do we gauge
What would
the
you
following?
like?
How do we gauge the
All right,
following?
look, no, I'm not gonna.
Because some people,
I-
like,
no, no,
like
listen.
say a person comes in and only listens for 3 minutes. Is he part of, even though they get something positive out of it, would that person still be considered in a cult or a cult follower?
Would you say you consider yourself like a spiritual elder or something?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna call you elder because you're old as dirt, you know.
Okay.
All right, look, I'm gonna ask the comments.
And then you get stabbed in the neck. What's that? See, that's your.
All right, listen.
Okay.
Viewers, what would you like me to call you? You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Call you a cult. So I'd like to know what you guys would like me to call you when I'm entering these debates. You're just gonna wait for the next comment, you know?
Why can't they be called what their names are? Why do they have to be grouped? Why do you want to group?
Specific.
No. How are you grouping everybody together?
This bleeds into current society.
Okay.
All these little prefixes that people want to call you, that people want to be called. It's like you can't assume genders anymore. You know, like I'm looking at you like you're a male, like you're a male man, you know?
Okay, I'm a male man.
They're not fucking delivering mail, but you're a male, you know?
Okay.
So I'm gonna be like, hey, sir, you know?
Right.
And if I see a female, I'm be like, hey, ma'am.
Okay.
But now, during the society, we gotta have all these prefixes, and I'm like, hey, ma'am. And they're like, did you just assume my gender? Now I'm in a stupid ass conversation.
Somebody did that to you before?
Yes.
Where?
At work, I'm like, it's like a female. I know the fucking female, you know?
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, ma'am. And they're like, did you assume my gender? Like, now I'm in this stupid, awkward conversation because I didn't ask her for her prefixes. And that's the same thing that's going on right here, you know? Like you're a spiritual elder, and I call you a cult, you find it offending. But when I call somebody who's like a non-binary female, a female, they find it offensive. So I have to learn their prefixes so that I can be at a non-objective stance with them in an argument, you know?
Yeah, because a cult is based on belief. And
I wasn't arguing a cult right now. I'm arguing. Here, look,
okay.
people. Can you read that?
No labels necessary. I would say I'm an interactive contributor. There you go. Interactive contributor. There we go.
That's too. All right. Let's get back to our topic.
Addressed by name. See, Valerie says it. Valerie says addressed by their name. There you go.
No.
See, you're trying to group people together.
That's the same with the people that are non-binary.
No. Heck with the prefixes. There'll need to be 500 plus labels. I'd rather be called 8. What is that? 8 warmed.
8 wind.
Warped.
8 wind. It's probably you messed up typing, so we meant 8 wind.
Ninja, 8 wind is timeless. Hey, Ninja. You know what you call a pansexual? Not allowed on my kitchen. What?
All right, so pansexual is a person who is sexually attracted to any like say if I'm a lesbian or I'm gay or I'm a tranny, pansexual is attracted to all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I'm a fucking Zoomer, so I got to learn all this stupid shit.
Okay.
And I work with the community.
All right. Well, we can move on to something.
All right. Let's say I'm not gonna call you all by your name because there's like 24 people in here, and I'm not gonna sit here and learn all your names.
But I'm saying
that's gonna waste a lot of time.
You can't group each person's knowing.
I'm gonna refer to you guys as
the Mickey Mouse
spectators.
Club.
Spectators.
There you go.
Spectators.
Mickey
right?
Mouse. Mickey Mouse.
You're elder and they're spectators.
Okay.
Let's just do that. You know.
All
Sounds fair. That sounds fair.
All right.
All right. Now continue your point.
I didn't have a point really.
Let's start a new one.
Okay, let's start.
Now that I got you guys.
Okay.
I wanted to be polite, so
okay,
elder.
Let's start
elder
a new
spectators.
one. Gosh, I really didn't have a whole lot.
I'm chilling. They're intrigued right now. You got to keep it going. You just talk about what you usually talk about, and I'll jump in when I feel that I disagree with something.
Well,
or I have enough knowledge to disagree with something.
Okay. Well, what I was just saying is, again, looking at the days going through, we're going to definitely see more. By my name, yes, I'm Joshy, but so anything but by my name. I'm just crazy. Sorry.
Let me read
we're
that
just
loud.
YouTube viewers. It ain't rocket science.
Where'd you start?
Yeah, we're just YouTube. Thank you.
You like not reading. Right?
43 right there, and that's 44. The one on the bottom.
Homie, 43. We just YouTubed viewers.
Yeah.
It ain't rocket science. Thank you, Reed.
Yeah. So, That's for something up top. So yeah, it's just.
That is
But yeah, we're
YouTube.
gonna.
No, wait, let me speak of it.
Okay.
I know you guys are just YouTube viewers, but like this is my show. I'm a guest on this show, so I don't want to disrespect his viewers. So I would like to find like some middle ground because like we really don't agree on very much, you know. Like we agree on a lot, you know. He raised me, you know. My dad, we agree on a lot, but like to this belief, I'm gonna call it a belief. I don't, you know, I'm gonna call it a belief. This our religious, our spiritual beliefs aren't on the same plane or on the same level. Now listen.
Okay.
Our spiritual belief isn't. I'm gonna say level. Our spiritual belief isn't on the same level. So there's a lot of things we disagree with. So I would like to know what you viewers would like to be called, so that I don't disrespect all of you.
I thought you already figured that out. You said you were
spectators.
Okay.
And I'm calling them viewers. A viewer is a spectator.
Are you
is a viewer not a spectator?
Yeah.
Somebody who views is spectating.
Okay, but you already made your point.
What is a synonym?
So why are you going over the point again?
No, because he just commented that, or she just commented that.
But they're moving
so I wanted to reiterate the fact.
You don't have to though.
I did because they just commented it.
But they're slower than me and you talking. There's a delay.
I'm interacting with the comments.
But what I'm saying is the comments are delayed.
That's true. I'm just interacting with comments.
Okay.
There's nothing more to it.
But they're delayed.
All right. Now you just read something from your journal. Continue from that.
Yeah, I don't really have much in the journal.
Continue from it.
But I don't really have much that I wrote down. But I'll just say this is, you know, being Saturday, we're going to see deaths going into probably Sunday morning. Super Bowl's not till.
Why are we going to see deaths in that?
Because they're sacrificing entertainers.
Sacrificing entertainers for what?
For the Super Bowl.
The large event?
For the large event. It's up to 18. And so we're going to see.
Is there a limit to the age that they will sacrifice?
No, because one girl was 52. She just died, a gymnast.
Will there be more power from the age differentiate?
No.
So you won't gain more power from sacrificing a 6-year-old versus sacrificing a 50 or 80-year-old?
Not under this. It would all be tied into the same event.
I feel like if I'm not saying I believe in this, you know, but I'm saying if an 8-year-old died, or let's say just an 8-year-old, there was just a shooting and an 8-year-old got shot in its house, I feel like there'd be a bigger news coverage versus. But
what are we saying? We're saying entertainers.
Yeah, no. I'm leveling on the same plane as you. I'm on your side in this discussion, right? What I'm trying to say is, I feel like there would be a bigger news, like news would have a bigger effect, and they would argue more if like an 8-year-old got killed while it was just sitting in his house. Right? Say I'm 8, you're watching TV, I'm in my room, we're over north, we're in the ghetto, you know, and
over north.
Yeah, I know, because this is how it is. You know? I grew up over north, you know. It's just hectic out there, you know.
Good talk.
But go ahead. It's not going to be hectic.
But you kind of got off the point. Because we're talking about athletes dying and sacrifice.
No. Can I speak?
But you're getting off point.
No. You said there will be a lot of sacrifices.
No. I said specifically there are going to be entertainers sacrificed from the Monday after the championship and up until and even after
my
the
fault.
game.
My fault. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's not just general. No, these are
if it's not general, continue.
No, it's not. It's entertainers. And
my
so
fault.
Again, we are up to 18, and so we're going to continue to see that. And now, what about Sunday? You know, it's supposed to be minus 14 that night.
It was -3 tonight.
I know. So I don't know if I'm going to go up there. My truck out there for that many hours.
Truck is a very strong word for your transportation mobile.
It's a little truck.
It's not a truck. It's an SUV. It's a small SUV.
Okay. Aren't SUVs types of trucks?
No.
What are they? Can I haul in it?
You can haul in it, but it's not a truck because it doesn't have a bed. All trucks have a bed.
I can put my back seats down. I can put all the seats down.
Trucks have a bed.
When they do cars and they say a hauling space, they include the space if you can put your seats down.
Truck.
Yes, they
has
do.
A bed.
Yes, they do. They look at capacity.
Name one truck that doesn't have a bed.
Well, El Camino has a bed.
Yeah.
Is a El Camino a truck?
Yes.
It is not. It is a bed put on a car body. So it is not a truck.
All right. Okay. What differentiates a car from a truck?
What differentiates a car from a truck?
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. What?
A truck's going to be on a bigger platform. It's going to be higher. This chassis is going to be bigger. It's normally going to have bigger tires.
Let's say if I have a truck and I lower the suspension where it's really low, like down low, like on a lowrider shit, is it
Then
still
why
a
would
truck?
you just have a car?
No. I'm arguing your point. Let's say if I have a truck and I lower the suspension where it's like lowrider status, is it no longer a truck? Does it become a car?
But generally, trucks are bigger.
Are you talking chassis? You mean chassis?
No, the truck is generally bigger than a car.
So the chassis is bigger.
Well, sometimes the chassis is bigger, but it's on a bigger platform.
And what is the platform? The chassis?
Not the frame. A lot of times the frames. No, the chassis is what you put on top of, but the frames are built different.
Yeah.
The car frames are built
like
different
box frames.
Than truck frames.
Like what really set the frames different was the Toyota pickup. The Toyota pickup had the box frame, and that box frame, the Toyota pickup, you look that shit up, that shit's indestructible. You got?
No, I'm not.
What?
My cigar fell in my water.
What a shame. But yeah, that's what really started it. That
Where
Toyota
is my
pickup
water?
had the.
Did you knock my water over? Oh, there it is. Okay.
This?
Yeah, never mind.
There's nothing in it.
No, because I poured all the water and you knocked the cigar into my water. So now I don't have any water.
Made me lose my point. Anyway.
You wasn't making a point. Your point was you're getting worse. Andy Reid's son was DUI'd with his 5-year-old. One of them is dying, I heard. Yeah, one of them is
Oh, about your point, I agree with that.
Okay.
You know, that fucking
I'm gonna answer this though. Oh yeah, Andy Reid, they said the son might die. The one of the babies might die. But he had a DUI. Wow, I did not know that. Wow. That was because one of the child they say is in a not stable, life-threatening situation. It's a battle wagon.
listen.
Size. Trucks are ladder frames. There you go. Trucks are ladder frames. DUI with the kid. Wow. A low rider truck is still a truck.
Oh, so El Camino still
Why
a
didn't you
truck.
grab me one? Oh. Anything really? Oh, you got to have Pop Tops.
I got teeth.
Yeah. You're going to fucking bust your teeth out like that.
Watch it.
And your tooth come out. When you get older, you're going to regret doing that shit.
All right, look.
So see, that's the thing. It's a different frame. Yep. Or best yet, any non-unibody frame is considered a truck. Yeah, non-unibody.
That's what I was talking about, the chassis. Okay, I guess I misspoke my words. I meant frame instead of chassis.
Okay.
I forgot my train of thought, so you pick it up.
But that's messed up though with Andy Reid's son.
Oh no, I got my train of thought back.
Okay.
So what really made me think was like, we're in Minnesota, right?
Okay.
I'm speaking for all the viewers. Look, I'm speaking to the viewers.
Okay.
We're in Minnesota, right?
All right.
We have a basketball team. It's pretty trash, right? But we have a really good player. His name is Karl Anthony Towns, right? The best player for our basketball team. And it's basketball and football. And those are the two most sports that draw in money, right? And Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best players we had in a while. We had KD, D Rose, Jimmy Butler, and Karl, right?
Yeah.
And Karl just on our team went on a Corona filling run, right? And yet his mom fell under coronavirus, right?
And 6 other relatives.
And 6 other relatives, right?
6
I
other relatives.
don't know about this, but I'm just gonna agree upon him with this. And like me, you know, I'm thinking like, damn, it's kind of suspicious that our most valued player's mother got corona. I feel like it's like an ad. Like you might be watching something, you might get an ad about something you're watching, right?
Okay.
We get a virus, and our most valuable player, mother, it's not even a fucking a third string player. It's our number 1 starting center, our most valuable player. I literally can't name any other player on our team besides Karl Anthony Towns. And that should speak for majority of America because I don't watch our games. And our most valuable player's mother got corona.
Yeah.
Everybody in Minnesota knows who he is. His mother got corona. That's just really, really suspicious, you know? It's like for even anybody who doesn't keep up with a elder, as you know, he wants to be called, you know, everybody who doesn't keep up with elder knows who Karl is, and they know his mom got corona. And that might put fear because we all know that power comes from fear. That's how majority of Europeans rule. Majority of Europeans rule from majority of European. This is racist, you know. It's kind of prejudice, you know. But we can build this off what's it called? We can kind of build this off stats. Like took over America, took over.
What does that got to do with?
No, it's gonna come back in a circle. Damn, let me speak. Can I speak? It comes back in a circle.
You go. Okay, go ahead.
All right, look. Took over Africa, brought them to America, took over America, right? Meaning that they could have easily just poisoned the media to make us think that the coronavirus exists, to put us in a state of fear so that they could regain control. And that's my whole point, is that they're doing that little corona shit for fear. You know, I really don't know anybody close to me who has had corona. I've only heard hearsay of corona. And I don't even know if that hearsay is corona. For all I know, it could have been flu because, you know, it's cold outside right now.
Flu don't exist anymore. They said only 40 people in the whole country got it this year. Something that kills tens of thousands every year. All of a sudden, only 40 people around the nation got it.
I've never heard the statistic. I cannot argue with that.
It's probably more. It's actually probably in the close to 50, 60,000. The number one thing that kind of disease is flu.
That's for you to argue with
that
them.
kills people.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. But nobody has heart attacks anymore. There's only one way people die now.
That's a fucking lie.
You get hit by a train.
No,
get hit by a train and ain't.
You said heart attacks?
Yeah, people ain't.
Cholesterol is at the all-time high it's ever been. Seasoning, salt, fast food. Do you know how convenient fast food is? I stopped eating McDonald's because look, you telling me heart attacks at an all-time low? Yeah. You know how many people eat McDonald's? I ate McDonald's for one whole week, right? I had fucking IBS. I was going to the bathroom like nasty, you know? And I'm like, man, this is not for me.
How do you know the difference? Isn't every time nasty?
No. This was nasty.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to the bathroom. I was like, yeah, now I'm never eating McDonald's again.
Baby daycare nasty.
Yes, baby daycare nasty. I was going to the bathroom. I looked at it. I was like, yo, this is not for me. I haven't ate McDonald's since I ate their new Chips Ahoy ice cream. That's it.
Chips Ahoy ice cream?
Yeah, they got a little McFlurry Chips Ahoy.
Oh,
I ate that one time, right?
Okay.
But like I was eating it for like a week straight,
okay,
and I realized that was disgusting, right? So now just imagine the people who actually regularly eat that and don't think about the precautions I thought of, and they consistently eat that. Okay. Do you think that's not going to raise cholesterol and raise heart attack rates?
What's that got to do with Karl Anthony Towns?
You were just talking about heart attack rates. You're bringing up old ones.
But you're right. It doesn't appear to exist anymore.
It does exist.
They don't say. They don't say on the news that it exists anymore.
Because there's more pressing matters like corona.
None of diabetes. None of these kind of things seem to exist anymore.
Because in the current news,
it's only one way that people die now.
Oh, my fault. I didn't let you finish your.
Yeah, only one way people die. People only die from.
I low key cut you off because I heard that. I cut you off because I didn't hear that. My fault.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way people die now. They just got one way.
What's up with this?
That is my personal protector of Shungite.
Shungite?
Shung.
Is it?
It's Shungite.
Is that the same stuff you got on your neck right here?
No, that's Moldavite. This comes from the Czech Republic. That comes from Russia.
Can I pick it up?
Right.
Here's some Shungite. Yeah, he's kind of illiterate, so you probably can't pronounce it right.
That's how you pronounce it.
No, listen, it's probably not how you pronounce it.
It is. It's a Russian word.
It's probably not how you pronounce it.
It is.
I don't believe that.
I got a book right here to pronounce it for you.
Can I see the book with the pages?
You don't know how to read, though.
I can read significantly better than you. I was in school like
right now.
I'm still in school. You the last time you were in school was like 100 years ago.
But I read all the time, so I'm always in school.
Doesn't matter if you read all the time. You can still have some.
Do you think your name is in this book?
No.
What if it was? You got any money? You bet?
No, I would not like to bet.
Why?
Because you know if it is or not. Because you do these shows every night,
and
you read this book every night.
This is my book.
Exactly.
I don't know that.
Is this the Shungite?
I don't know.
This show's sick. I need a YouTube show.
You changed the other.
Hey, Lord.
No, it's not in here.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, they don't put it in
or here. Or best in here. Okay. Murder charges will be filed. Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah, it's not in here. He's talking about Andy Reid.
Murder charges will be filed in the son doesn't make it. Cat needs toughen up. He's soft. Minneapolis got something going on. Like you need 8 wind. They psycho up. Yo. Germs is a big way they take over the first place. McDonald's is gross. McDonald's is gross. LOL.
Well, thank you,
Somebody
Strong
leaked their
Discernment.
YouTube. All right, let's hear their comment before we even look at their YouTube. Wait. Please watch them. Never mind. That's just a promotion.
Yeah.
Let me read in my
He
head
said
first.
Bliss. He
Wait.
said watch.
Please.
He put the link in here.
You're just gonna click on it. You're a very good content creator.
Yeah. Well, I want to. And then you changed the city. Why did you change the city making page?
I
Why did
changed
you
to my
put-
name.
You put my name in it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's yours.
It's the second channel, though. Why would I use my regular name?
Because it's my Facebook, so I can change whatever I want. Seems like a personal matter we seem to be arguing about right now.
Yeah. Well, it's bogus.
Arguing about right now. Oh shit.
There it is.
You can click on his YouTube on your main.
No, you just putting this. Yeah, here we go. So I can do it on here instead of there. And then I can watch it later.
All right, cool.
I can watch it later. Yeah. And
If
fine.
you
I might have it.
watching other people's shows, and then a lot of other people.
It's a movie.
But if you promote that, then a lot of other people. I'm not saying yours is like a lot of other people's. I'm just saying that if you promote watching a whole bunch of other people's videos, then you will get spammed with a whole bunch of other videos, you know?
Okay.
And then they want you to watch it so that you could possibly promote it to your viewers that you have that they do not.
I see your point, but I don't think his intention was that. His intention
Yeah.
was
I'm saying
to add to the knowing. You know, you almost knocked my salt lamp down.
I'll drop kick your salt lamp.
Yeah, you can buy me another one. You'll be so what is it like all this going around and you having to change and like not seeing the people graduate last year? You more than likely might not get to have a ceremony graduation or prom. You might not have a prom or a ceremony graduation.
You're asking the wrong person about
I mean, I'm
prom.
just saying, how do you feel about not being able to do all that?
You're asking the wrong person about prom.
Well, I know your prom experiences aren't the greatest, but where you were looking forward to at least walking and graduating, weren't you?
Yeah, I'll probably get a walk and graduate.
But what I'm saying is maybe they might do it this year.
I'm not really looking. All right, look. All right, say I get a walk. How memorable will that be? Like, am I supposed to give a end of the movie of a Silver Lining playbook movie? You know, am I supposed to give like a really motivational speech in a high school graduation? Like, no, this shit literally doesn't matter. After I graduate high school, I'm gonna move on with life and begin my career. I'm gonna be at the bottom of my career and work my way up. You know, like that literally is irrelevant. I don't care about my walk-on high school shit. I'm not like, oh, I really care what people think. I don't care about none of that shit, you know?
Well,
That's really in the minds of all the other high school kids.
Well, let me tell you my experience.
Majority of my friends aren't in high school, so why would I care about that?
Well, let me tell you my experience. The day I graduated, the girl who took me to graduation, she had sex with me in the car. Then we both took a hit of acid. And as we were walking up to go to the graduation place, some other people had some cocaine. And so we both tried a little bit of that before we even got into the building. And then
when was this? Wait. What decade was this?
This was 1979.
This was in the 70s. So I'm literally not surprised that y'all were doing acid and doing some coke before you got on stage. But this is 2000, you know. Kids are like.
But you were saying it was memorable to me. That was because
that was
some fun shit.
That was because of your decade, you know. Y'all was hitting acid and doing coke then, you know. This year, kids are like the ones that are really acting out might do some coke and drop a tab, but like.
What's a tab?
A tab is acid. It's like because
okay.
acid comes in little squares, you know, double drip, drop, double dop, you know. Right, but like majority of people are doing
put on sugar cubes too.
Yeah. But like
put on sugar cubes.
Here, it's not like that. It's not like that in high school nowadays, you know.
You ever seen a dude who sold acid? It like comes in a little liquid form like this, and you have a little pill dropper, and you can put it on a sugar cube like people would buy.
Oh no, what you're talking about is like All right, so they'll
The chemical.
the UGs. It's called UG, right? And UGs come in milligrams. So you can get UGs in 2 different variants, as I believe. I'm pretty sure you can get 2 different variants. You can get them dropped, double dropped, triple dropped, however many drops, whatever, right? Or you can get them dipped. So they'll have the UGs, right? And like a little thing that you squeeze and suck up the UGs, right? And then you do 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, right?
Okay.
Or they'll have the people that take the little tab, right? The little cardboard shit that dissolves on your tongue, and take that little cardboard and dip it in the UGs, let it dry, and that's one dip, right?
Okay.
That's 1 drip dip UG, right? And then they can double drip it, right? So that's 2 layers of the UGs.
But it's the chemical called lactasic, whatever the name of it is.
Yeah,
it's a name for the chemical, and
it's
you could
UG.
People would sell that chemical, and then you could put it on whatever you wanted to put it.
Yeah, but anyway, nowadays it's not like that.
Yeah, it used to be like that.
Yo ass grew up you graduated in the 70s, where they were like that shit just first came out and people were experimenting with it.
That shit been out. That shit came out in the 60s. Like actually, they invented it in the late 50s.
All right, okay. I'm trying to base my stuff off of
I'm telling you,
some knowledge I don't know.
People in the 60s took acid way more than people take it now. 60s and 70s was
All right, but
a lot more than now.
But it's been out so long that now people really know what it does. Like
well,
it's been out for a long
They
time.
knew what it did then too.
Like now we really know what it does.
So
we're not doing it like you did when you graduated. You know, we know what it does. We like really know what it does.
It'll have you tripping.
Yeah, we know it will have you tripping.
It'll have you tripping.
So like for me, like I could graduate with walk on, no walk on. As long as I get my diploma and I do what I gotta do to graduate and get my diploma, I'm fine, you know.
Okay. You said diploma like 3 times.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, as long as I get my diploma, graduate, you know, on time and do what I gotta do, it doesn't matter. I don't care what they think, as long as I graduate on time and do what I gotta do.
So you're satisfied. You're satisfied that you don't get to do it, and like
I never said that.
There won't be a prom. I mean, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have a graduation?
You know, a lot of females would be jealous, you know, if I picked a certain one for prom.
Okay.
You know, a lot of them would be jealous because, you know, I just got so many of them. They'd be jealous if I just picked a certain one for prom.
Who would be jealous? How many do you think?
I mean,
because I've seen the girls you choosing. I don't know.
No. You did not. They usually pick me up, you know, and I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm about to go somewhere. I'll be back." You know, I hit you with that, and you'll like kind of like look out the window.
Why would I look out the window?
Because you like that. You're little spy.
So if I was watching the game, would I look out the window? I would ignore the game to look out the window to see?
I never saw. Like I'd be like I never really invited them over. You know?
Oh, okay.
Because most of the shorties are like some thick blonde white shorties that ain't ready for the crystals, you know.
Okay.
So I just slide to their house. You know, you don't understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
They're like some slow, thick blondes.
Okay.
So I just slide to their house because they're not ready for it, you know.
Okay.
Because then I gotta answer a whole bunch of stupid questions that I don't want to answer.
Why they ask questions?
Because they slide over here, they're like, "Oh, why you got so many crystals? Oh, you doing YouTube? Where's it going?" You know, those are like some questions that I could easily avoid by just going to their house. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't know that.
Right, so I could avoid those.
I didn't know this. Just walking in, all that conversation.
Yes, all those conversations. You see that illuminated orb right there? I get so many questions about that, all the tables, you know. So I just go to their house and don't have to answer any of those. Versus me coming here, and that's more questions I gotta answer.
Wait, so you're saying when people walk in the door, the first thing they do is look down at the table?
Yes.
Why? What attracts them to the table? What?
Samurai Jack, that illuminated orb, and then on the table there's some crystals. So look. The more questions I have to answer, is the farther I get away from Kraken, right? Say Kraken is right here.
All right.
Some questions are right here, right?
Okay.
But then once them crystals pop in, like 10 more questions pop in that I gotta answer, you know?
Okay, but if you was a pimp, you would learn how to get all that in.
Avoid those questions. These are hard questions to avoid because there's a lot of crystals. I gotta answer a couple of them.
I'm just
all right, look.
That people would just look down at the table and say,
No, okay, not that just table. That was just something I was saying because it was right there. But like, you can't walk through this house and be like, wow. You can't walk through this house and not.
So when you go over people's house, you be looking at their shit.
I'm different.
I don't be like when I go to Tony's house or Brendan's house, I don't be looking all at these shit like that.
I do.
I don't.
I do because I'm a very analytical person. I usually if I go to someone's house, I will look at all of their art and all their stuff and base that on the person because they chose to put that there.
Okay, I guess I don't really give a fuck. So I don't really
pay that much attention. No. If you went to somebody's house and they had as many crystals, if like say Tony, right?
Okay.
Like you ain't seen him in 10 years. You go to his house and he has as many crystals as you. You're gonna build a conversation off of that, and that is a fact. You cannot dispute that.
Okay.
Right. So when I go to somebody's house and I view how they're living and what their decor is, I will build my conversation on that somewhat. Like if it's very noticeable, I would build my conversation on that. But if it's just like some normal shit, I won't.
Okay. I really just don't care. Like
yes, you do. If you went to someone's house and they had as many crystals as you would build your conversation.
The only thing
you'd be like, "Oh, I saw you had some pink amethyst."
Like when I go over to your mom's house, like I couldn't really tell you like pictures of y'all. Is other shit she got though? The only thing I really noticed is she got pictures of y'all.
No,
what else? Did she
look. If you went to somebody's house and you saw,
I'm just saying that example, a common example. I don't. What was the other shit she got? Like she got knickknacks and shit.
Nah, just like women's stuff, you know.
Okay,
like,
I couldn't tell you.
Like some stupid stickers and like
see,
Japanese.
I don't flower. I only thing I saw was the pictures of y'all.
That's just because you're biased, you know.
I don't know. I just don't care about any other shit. Yeah, I don't care about that other shit.
But if you went to somebody's house and they had a whole bunch of crystals and you were looking at them, you're like, oh, I'll say you got pink amethyst. What do you think about that? Or you just built a conversation on that, and you can go on that conversation for a while. You'd be like, oh, you got some bismite or some other fucking crystal. I don't know. That was just random. Yeah, I'm making shit up. That's a crystal. Let's say bismite's a crystal. Be like, oh, you got some bismite, you know.
So what about your Nana's house? What do you think about that shit? You think people go in there and care about all that shit that's in there?
100%. She is a very Oriental-based house.
She does.
Yes. So that would easily build a conversation. Okay. You could easily build a conversation off that. Could you not?
I guess.
Because look, I see your house. Let's say your house is a temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way you decorate your temple displays yourself, right? Your inner self. Let's say it displays your inner self, right?
Part of your personality.
Yeah, it displays your personality.
Okay.
So if I go into your temple, I go into your temple and I look around and I'm like, oh, there's some crystals and stuff, and I ask you about them. I'm asking you about your personality, right? And you'll tell me about that, and we'll build a conversation on that. Wrong or right?
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. That's my point.
But I don't know. She can still be getting headaches and shit, and like you're supposed to have shit in your house that takes away headaches. And that's why I get mad at all that shit she's collected in there, because it doesn't seem to do that.
I never said that.
But I'm just saying, when you have stuff in your house like that,
I got a headache right now.
It should take away that kind of thing. That kind of art should, and that kind of following. You should put things in there that will uplift how you feel, and then lift you up at times. That's how things should be in your house.
I got a headache right now.
Yeah, you got some stank breath too. Yeah, you been spitting on me. My pants are burned off. I got shorts on now. We started talking. I had on pajamas. You burned my pajamas off.
You want to read your followers? Bring them in the description.
Gabe is way they take over the first place.
You got to read them out loud.
You are gonna have an 8 win. I promise. Thank you, strong to serve it. I never went to prom. I did. I went to prom. I went to a bunch of proms. Let me guess. Then you stayed in the building afterwards because of the dang dragons.
You stayed in the building, but it wasn't because of the dragons.
It's all good. It's the energy that attracts.
You stayed in the building because of something else. They didn't have a lot of security back then. He was in the building because of that.
It's just stupid stuff we used to do. I had the keys to my high school, and
how'd you get those? What'd you have to do for the janitor?
my one of my football teammates had a job where he was a janitor student. And so he had keys to the whole building. And when he graduated, he just gave me the keys.
Yeah, they ain't doing that these years. They learn their fucking lesson.
Well,
from when you was in high school.
They used to have classes where you could work on cars.
We do that. Houses, yeah, shop,
plumbing.
At my school, we can do that. They build houses and they get paid for it while they're at school. Or you can do what I do and just work. Like they do that shit for like 2 hours, right? Let's say they get paid 10 hours and $10 an hour, right? But they only
Okay.
get to work they only get to work 2 hours during school versus say you work like I work like 30 hours and you get to work 30 whole hours outside of school and get paid for those 30 hours versus every day you go to school you get to work 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I forgot what I was talking about.
Let's talk anime.
Huh?
Anime.
Anime? What do you want to talk about? Anime?
I have a very I don't want to hear no Eastern occult shit. I just want to hear like some anime stuff you saw that you were like, oh, that was
Okay,
pretty tight.
I like Del Hero.
My Hero Academia.
No, Daryl.
Oh, Dora.
No, it's Hero Del Hero. No, it's Del Hero. You know where they wear the mask? The dude wear the heart mask.
Where the heart mask.
And it's like you got the regular world and you got the wizard world.
Oh, this shit
It's
sounds.
Hero. It's Hero.
I never watched that.
Yeah.
Are you talking about that Fate Stay shit? Fate Stay Night
No,
stuff?
it's not a fate. It's called Hero Del Hero.
I'd never watched that. Dora.
No.
Dororo.
Huh?
Dororo.
No, it's Del Hero Del.
I never watched that.
That was kind of.
You like the Fate Stay? You like the Fate series, didn't you?
Yeah, I like some of the Fate series because they deal with time. So I do like some of the Fate series.
Did you like the because it really based off of like people in the third dimensional world and based off of people in the third dimensional world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they came in contact with spirits that were from the spiritual world, and they were able to command those spirits from the spiritual world to fight against other spirits to gain the chalice, the little goblet
Okay.
that if you gain access to, you could get any wish you wanted came true. Did you like that concept, or were you liking the spirit combined with the third dimensional plane aspect?
Well, the other one, it was the time aspect. I think it was the sixth one. It was called the Fates, the Six or something like that.
Fate Stay Night? That's what I watched.
It was the one where they as they go into each kingdom to try to, there's a time period, but also it takes them into different dimensions and time. But it's still like.
Did it take each spiritual character or each third dimensional character?
Well, it's like this one has a main character, and they each have a
spiritual character.
No, they each have a warrior that fights for them.
That was the spiritual one. Yeah, like there's a third dimensional player. There was the third dimensional character, and each third dimensional character had a spiritual character, right? They control the spiritual person,
and it fights.
Yeah, it fights for them,
right?
And then if their third dimension, if their spiritual character won the fight at the end, like the final fight, then they would get to wish upon anything on the little chaliceman, the little goblet.
Right, they were trying to. Okay, yeah, I kind of.
We can't build this on this. This is.
And then the other one is Titans.
Oh, Attack on Titans. That's good.
And I didn't realize.
I didn't really like that.
But I didn't realize that they could make themselves Titans, like the children could turn into the Titans.
Oh, all right.
I didn't realize that.
How this works is all right, Aaron, right? Aaron's the main character. How far did you get into the first season?
I'm not sure.
All right, here, let me just catch you up. All right, Aaron's was a Titan, right? Do you care if I spoil anything?
No.
All right, I'm gonna break this down for you. I'm gonna try to do this really slow, to catch you up. I'm not trying to complicate you or anything because it gets complicated.
Okay.
Aaron, right? Yep. Was a kid, right?
All right.
He lived in the outer wall, so it was a hierarchy, right? Mm-hmm. The more rich you were, the higher wall you were in. There was like 4 walls, right? Aaron lived in the outer wall, right? His dad was a scientist, like a really, really good scientist who studied the Titans, right? Like studied like the Titans. He knew a lot about them, right?
All right.
And before his dad left, he injected him, Aaron with something, the main character, right? Mm-hmm. He injected him with something, right? And he told him, if everything goes bad or go into our basement, right? His dad leaves. It's been a while. Then Aaron, right, is chilling at home or whatever. The Titans attack. They break through the wall, right? And there's some underlining about how they broke into the wall, but that doesn't come up yet.
Okay.
So they break into the wall. Aaron watches his mom die or whatever. Then it's later on the season where he's doing like training to get into the academy or whatever for Titan killing.
Okay.
He gets into the scouts, which is the most dangerous part, right? Once he gets into the scouts, right? He sees his best friend like get his legs cut off, right?
All right.
Or some shit like that. He sees a whole bunch of people die. And then he gets super angry and he goes like this. He bites his thumb like, and he turns into a Titan.
big.
He turns into a Titan because of the stuff his dad ingested in him, right?
Okay.
And then once he turns into that Titan, he's like fighting the other weak ass Titans and shit.
All right.
And then later on, you learn that there was other people who could control that Titan, right? Control the Titans, right? And since they can control the Titans, there was the female Titan, right? She can crystallize herself. She was probably one of the smartest. And then the attack I was talking about in the when he was in the beginning, how the wall broke and the attack and killed his mom.
Right.
It was this one kid who was the armor Titan who can build armor around himself.
Right.
And then the colossal Titan, he imagine yourself or myself without skin and you're just like red meat.
Yep, I remember seeing.
Yeah, he's really tall.
Yeah.
He broke the wall and then all the Titans came through. Right.
Okay.
There's that. Oh shit.
And I didn't even know that they had those powers when they attacked. I didn't realize that was the other island people.
Other island.
The Titans was used as the army.
Yeah.
From the other people.
All right. So the Titan, let's say the Titans were pawns, right? But the people who could turn into Titans were like bishops, rooks, and stuff, right?
Mm.
Let's say that's relevant. Look, it gets later on in the season, like season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing called a Beast Titan. It's bigger than how the red skin where it's like has no skin is the Beast Titan.
Yeah.
The Beast Titan's way bigger than that one, and it can speak to humans. It's intellectual, right?
Mm.
That one,
I haven't got that far.
I don't want to spoil it.
Mm.
But this really has nothing to do with anything. But I was kind of just filling you in on. I was just trying to recap in the first season.
Okay, all right. But yeah, it's a lot of spiritual things in watching certain anime.
Oh, for sure.
And anime really.
Your little Western occult shit. I honestly watching anime, I find it very interesting. You trying to sit. Oh, the word I was looking for was subliminal.
Okay.
Like when we first started a conversation.
Yeah. But
yeah, you're kind of portraying as some subliminal messaging. I can't disagree with that because honestly, it is. You're like wondering where all the subliminal messaging comes from.
Right.
But a lot of our influencers come from America,
Sure.
And they influence all cultures. It doesn't matter what culture. Like YouTube and Google is an American company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which reaches out throughout the entire. YouTube and Google reaches out through the entire world, right?
Yeah. So
they can influence anybody they want. So you could say it came from that, or like they were creating an anime and they realized that like we like to watch somebody who's half demon but good. Like, all right, so majority of animes who people are half demon, right?
Okay.
Say the main character's half demon, right?
Like Demon Slayer in the sister, she's like
turning into
demon.
She is a demon. She's 100% a demon.
Okay.
All right, look. Say there's a main character, right? This character right here.
Sure.
He's a half demon, right?
All right.
This is human. This is demon. He's half demon. There's another character that's a demon, right? His humanity side. All right, this is humanity side. His humanity side has overcome his demon side. It's not more of a demon side overcoming humanity side.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a. Damn, I'm kind of agreeing with you on this. It's kind of humans overcoming the demon side and harnessing the demon power, but still having humanity. Because in majority of animes where the character has half demon power, he uses his humanity and harnesses his humanity so that he doesn't get overcome with the demon power, but he obtains the demon power and can use it to its fullest. And he using that demon power to its fullest and his humanity to attack and kill this demon over here, which makes him really powerful. And that just makes you happy inside. You're like, damn, yeah, that's my man, it's like, yeah, he may have that demon power, but he still retains all the humanity that we have and harnesses the demon power to fight back the demons from killing the humans.
And also it does buy into the thing that demons can do positive things.
Yeah,
because
that's
all
true.
Demons can't just be negative because people wouldn't deal with them if they were just negative.
You couldn't be sad.
Well, I'm saying people wouldn't deal with them if it was just a negative experience.
It's like you couldn't be happy if everybody was happy, Well, that's just the normal.
Well, happy
you couldn't be sad if everybody was sad,
Well, if you accept one, you have to.
That's to be a pro and a con, like yin and yang.
Well, that's a dualism, but you have to. If you accept one, you have to accept the other.
Yeah, exactly. It's
so you don't want to be happy.
Yeah, you don't. You want to be equal.
You want joy.
Balance. You used to say you're satisfied,
Balance.
You never said you were full because if you said you were full, then that implies that no. If you said you were full, that implies that times you felt empty. Yeah,
Somewhat.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
So you can't be full without feeling empty at sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, you got to be at an equal playing field.
You
but
have
you
to be
can't be
balanced.
completely, balanced.
Yeah, you have to be balanced.
You got to be balanced, yeah.
But that's what's interesting is
That's how I perceive anime. I don't perceive it like, I feel like how you're portraying. You're not trying to. I'm not saying you're trying to portray it this way, but like you're coming off in a strong way that you're trying to portray anime as just completely they're just trying to push demon ways onto other people. Like, because you didn't word it in the right way. I'm not trying to say you did it wrong, but you didn't word it in the right way. The way you worded it is that Japanese people are trying to my fault. I didn't mean to rationalize out all the Japanese people. You're trying to portray it in the way that Japanese anime or anime in general were pushing Western culture onto
Western occult.
Yeah, Western occult. But like
they're pushing on the world. They're pushing on their own people.
Yeah,
too.
but it could still be pushed in a good manner.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to argue. Like
I don't necessarily.
They still were, and majority of anime.
But what was the word you just said? It's a psyop. It's a type of psyop to accept a lot of these gestures.
But when they do this, they do it in a good gesture, like they absorb the demon energy, right? And they still retain complete control over the humanity and use their humanity to fight back the. Oh shit, we're dying.
Oh, gotta plug this in. I'm not too far away.
They absorb their humanity to I see it. They absorb their humanity to fight for all the other humans that coexist with them, so that everybody else doesn't die. None of the main characters fight for themselves.
But I'm
they
just
fight
saying
for all their loved ones because they retain their humanity.
Oh, have you ever watched Dr. Stone?
Oh, that shit's fire.
Yeah, Dr. Stone's real fun.
That's good.
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
That's good.
Because he uses science to try to bring back
humanity.
To bring back humanity. Yeah.
That's a good one. He
shows that he can further things through science. So that's a pretty good one.
So, all right, let me give them a little basic on Dexter.
Okay.
So basically, there was I don't know what happened, but basically everybody got turned to stone, right? But there's this one character in this anime. His name's Dr. Stone, right? And he has knowledge upon everything. How to create a generator, how electricity works, how phones work, how everything works. He's just a super genius beyond human knowledge. No.
Let me add this. Let me add this. One thing you're missing. As everyone is turned into rocks, there's only like two people.
I haven't got that far. Chill.
But you did. You mentioned that.
No. Wait.
Everyone let me say this part.
Let this come up.
No. Let me say this. One thing is everybody gets turned into rocks. He's able to keep consciousness while turned into a rock. There's two people that do.
No. Yeah. It's him. He can keep consciousness. The only way he kept consciousness is because he counted single. He was just like 1, 2, 3. He counted so that he could know what year it was when he awoke from the rock, right? And there was another person. The only way he kept alive or conscious during this is because he was in love with someone. I mean, that kind of shows you how powerful love is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty young, so I don't know if I experienced that yet. But yeah, he kept alive by love, and the other man, the Dr. Stone, kept alive by that, right? But the main point is it's kind of brutes.
Let me ask you a question.
Hold up.
Let me
it's kind of listen. It's kind of like the European like brute tactic. They're trying to take it over with power and muscle or whatever, right?
One group.
Yeah. Right. And then Dr. Stone's trying to be scientific and solve everything for a community, but the other ones are trying to take over everybody. Mm-hmm. So let's put it in a perspective like this. Look, let's say the Europeans, right, are that one muscle-bound athletic dude, right?
Yeah.
Because he's trying to take it all in a brute way, and Dr. Stone's that's kind of pushing an agenda.
Somewhat.
I can't.
Can I ask you a question?
I can't argue that.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know what love at first sight? Have you ever experienced that? Love at first sight?
No.
I think I've experienced it like 3 times. I first experienced in 8th grade. I saw a woman and
I thought you were gonna say my mom.
No. I didn't instantly fall in love with your mom. Three times in my life though. I felt that.
8th grade doesn't count.
No, it did. It was the same feeling that I had for the other 2. I mean, I generally fell in love with it.
Why didn't I haven't experienced it yet?
I mean, love hits people at different times. It's not an absolute.
Was this a little dad lesson right now?
No, I'm just wondering. I fell in love with her. I can tell you her name. I'm friends with her on Facebook.
You don't want to say the name out then?
No, I don't say her name. Yeah. And then 2 other times, I felt that same thing.
Whose mom? My brother's mom?
No.
We can just like simplify it by saying my brother's mom or my mom.
Your brother's mom. When I met your brother's mom, I was going with like one of the prettiest girls on campus. So I just noticed her.
The doctor one?
No, it was another girl.
We're talking about the doctor, my brother's mom, the doctor one, right?
She's not a doctor.
Okay, but we're talking about the same person?
Talking about Brian's mom.
You have the name drop, but yeah.
Okay, Brian's mom. No, I would flirt with her, but I was going with somebody else. So you know how you like.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you get off topic. Yeah, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it very generalized. So no people.
I kept her like I didn't even know her name, but she's like how that.
Yeah, you gotta keep it really generalized so nobody.
And so I broke up with the other girl, and then I started with Brian's mother. I met your mother in a bar.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the story 1,000 times.
Yeah, we're not gonna bring it up. But what do you think now in these days and times, wearing these stupid ass masks, getting all this propaganda?
All right, look. Masks are big propaganda. Like,
obey.
All right, look. I could see if they made a strict limit on the mask, but there's no strict limit on the mask. So it's really fear mongering for the mask part. Like, it's like if they made us like, yo, you gotta wear these triple layered masks with the 3M stamp on it where you breathe through it, on the little oxygen parts, right?
Right.
But we don't get those. It's like, yo, you wear a mask that covers your nose. And that's generalizing every mask that covers your nose.
I was at the mall.
Like you wear a fucking plastic mask, right? That's just plastic that covers nothing and it has nose holes. So you can really wear anything.
Right, you can wear it, but you know what they do with clothes? Have you heard of Lurking brand? Have you heard of Lurking brand?
No, listen. It kind of separates. I kind of call myself a sheep in this. Like, I don't care. Like, I know, I understand, but like, I don't care. Like, I understand all the other perspectives. Like, I'm not generalizing myself as a sheep, but I understand like the sheeps and everything. But like, when like you wear a mask because you're told to, it's like you're kind of a sheep. But
yeah, you're a baby.
Yeah, but I wear a mask because I can't work without wearing a mask,
Right.
But like I understand that, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest.
But I don't know if you remember this, but like there was a time where.
Oh wait, hold on.
Let me say
pause
this.
real quick. No, this is important. Trust me. Read your comments real quick, and then.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this first before I forget. So there was a time where you could get a sweater and you could buy the matching hat. I don't know if people remember that. It was like you bought the sweater and the sweater
lumberjack
would come
with the hat to match. I remember.
Well, I mean, it would be a stocking hat. It would be the stocking hat to match.
Like Biggie said, remember not to do the lumberjack with the hat to match.
The hat wasn't.
He said with the hat to match.
I know, but there was a type of lumberjack hat was a type of hat too.
Yeah, he said
it wasn't. It was like a.
Yeah. He said with the hat to match.
Yeah, but it was a direct type of match. Yeah. But you used to could buy sweaters, and the sweater came with a hat. Now you buy sweaters or shirts, and the shit come with a mask.
Remember when it came with the headphones? When I was younger, I was like, "Yeah, let me get that shirt," because it came with like an MP3 player or some stupid shit.
But now they give you so you get like this print you got on your shirt. You get the print, but you get the mask to match your shirt. So that's what the shit I saw today. I saw the mask.
Why would you stick your old ass finger in my mouth? You old ass nigga.
You look down.
I'm gonna catch the fucking dinosaur disease now.
No, old people make you strong.
No, nigga, you're old. I'm gonna get a dinosaur disease that's been extinct for ages. Somebody commented. Read their comment.
Okay, let's see.
Read it out loud, not quiet.
I never went to prom.
No, that's not out loud.
Just walking to the prom. It's a Kim suit. It's all good, and the energy that attracts the attention, most likely. Y'all have a good one. I gotta put my puppy to bed. Well, good night, Crazy Stars. Thank you. We're going full Star Wars soon. pretty much.
I like Star Wars.
But that's what they do now. You can get the mask to match your whatever the print. But I saw some fresh shit called Lurking.
Gymshark's what's blown up. It's an athletic clothing brand. You know how Lululemon blew up?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gymshark's the next one.
But this Lurking.
But they already blew up though.
This Lurking shit was tight.
What does it look
real
like?
Tight. He had like the Grim Reaper.
Damn, why am I still up? Like, what am I?
What time is it? Oh, it's 3. Natalie not coming.
All right, you man. I got work.
All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Negro.
Yeah. Harassing my people.
They wanted to hear me.
I don't think anybody wants
They
to
needed
hear
to want to hear.
a
They wanted to hear a
18-year-old.
different opinion.
I don't think anybody wanted to hear a weirdo 18-year-old.
They wanted to hear a different opinion.
Yeah. Oh gosh, this is going on almost 3 hours. I think so too. We probably are. We probably are going into that very soon. Did y'all see the shit on the news where they was talking about they looked on the moon where dude hit the golf ball like 40 years ago. 50 years ago when they supposedly was on the moon. They was like, well, you can still here, put that back where you found it, please. I'll stick those in the bucket out there. But it's just so stupid. They never was up there. Yeah, now they got the commercial that was from the Eddie Murphy movie where they're playing
Pluto.
Yeah, from the Pluto movie where they're
Where
going.
he was like
they was getting away.
He was a man and they were parasites in his head.
Something like that. Yeah, Pluto Nash. And they use that in the commercial where the hovermobile is able, and they want us to believe that little tin can was able to take a heavy ass car up there to the moon with those big ass wheels and motors. I mean, they just will never stop lying. That's the problem that we have. They never will stop lying. They want you to think they can go back and that they can even go to these other places. Now, I'm not naive, and they're far more advanced than what they're telling about just going to the moon. As I was talking about, listening to one cat talking about when he was going to another planet, he came back that night. Now that I can believe, something like that. Because from my own experience, you ain't got to get in a ship to go to another planet. And I know my way isn't the only way, but just establishing a relationship with one of these planets and you do it consistently, there becomes a bridge that is offered.
You're a bridge that's offered.
Quit eating all my damn candies.
Yeah.
That's my Christmas present. You eating it all.
Christmas was like
chocolate will make you darker, and you're dark enough. So you don't need anything else. Don't ever eat anything else dark. It just doesn't help you, buddy. You'll disappear one day. Okay, you had your Keelan hour.
Adios, amigos.
You tore my little stage up.
I made it better.
You make shit better. That's okay.
Now you got room for a guest.
Yeah, but look at my chairs all jacked up. Yeah, these are solid chairs, buddy. No, I don't mind. It don't belong there. No, it ain't gonna fit there. You're gonna knock all that shit over. Do not knock all that shit over, and it don't belong there. Good one.
You don't belong there. Now you got room for a guest.
Yeah.
That don't belong there. That don't fit there. That's what I thought.
I'm the only guest I need.
All right.
Good night.
Night,
Thank you for your commentary. I don't mind. It's added topics, and so I don't really mind. Most all my children are analytical like that. He seems to be a little more, and he's lived with me in some ways longer than his brothers and sisters because of just his age. Again, I got custody 10 years ago, so he was 8 when I got full custody. And even before then, he was living with me before we broke up. But then I won my case and got custody of him he was about 8. So that's 10 years ago. So, and we're the most alike in some ways. In some ways we are. One thing he picked up, kind of what his brother picked up from me, is being a gym rat and like working out. He likes working out. He picked that up part. Where my middle son, my 19-year-old son, was kind of more like my oldest son in the rejection of sports, saying I don't really have to be like you. And he never picked up the healthy lifestyle of working out, where at least he did and my other sons have. It's like, even though my oldest son didn't really necessarily, like when my oldest son broke his wrist playing football, he was happy because he had to play again. And then he tells me stories about some scrimmage that he did all this and he was such super player for this scrimmage. And it's not belittling him, it's just kind of funny. But it was his true intention. He didn't really want to play. And he was playing to please me. And that's okay. It's like even my brother, like he played and then he broke his wrist. And, he never wanted to play again, which, again, that's understandable. and he was actually very talented. He was very quick. My brother was very quick, fast, a real quick feet. And he didn't even hurt his leg hooping. And so sports will beat you down. It's funny. I was talking to my rheumatologist, and it seems like they struck me down before about my conversations with my doctors. I don't know, but it's just interesting. It's just interesting the propaganda that the doctors say. I've learned a lot about certain chemicals, and it's interesting they push the thing. And then, of course, all of them are on the same agenda when it comes to the most popular thing. Again, people aren't being sick of a lot of things nowadays. It's only seems like one thing. It's like you talk to your doctor about these other things, and they're like, "What do you mean? That doesn't really exist anymore." And that's kind of what we're seeing today, is that a lot of those things don't seem to exist. It's like, even though I'm talking about all these different issues with my doctor, it all comes back to one thing. It's the same question over and over and over again. And I'm like, my rheumatologist is mostly we're talking about my joints and my arthritis. I don't have where I get the scabs and stuff. I don't have that. I do have psoriatic arthritis too, but I just don't get the scabs and all that kind of thing. But it's just the way it affects you. And then I have a disease that actually attacks my ligaments. And so that's really what we're supposed to be talking about. And yes, we talked about those things, but she also brought up the common thing. And she even asked me, did I feel comfortable? Because I honestly, I think I'm her only melanated person. And she's probably, I don't know, from India. I couldn't really say if she's Indian. I don't think so. And not Pakistani, because I don't think she's a Muslim. I guess I knew at one time. Maybe even Palestinian. But I'm her only melanated patient. And so there's some things that I don't know if people know this, but there are certain conditions that don't affect melanated people. And they put it right on there. They'll say, I forget what she calls it, but there's a type of like someone will say European heritage, they're tested at this level, and the non-European are tested at this level. Different norms. I'm guessing what I'm saying is there's different norms on certain things for each type of group. And then my MRIs, I am European. Because again, they just went by how I look. But I was looking at because I had an ultrasound the other day, and I just laugh every time I look at my paperwork. But again, that's census was taken like that as well. We find census of my great grandfather from like 1920 to 1930. They have him listed as being European. I think it's 1 year in there that they put the mulatto thing on it. And then when we get in the 30s, it's just all Negro until 60s, 70s. A lot of people don't even remember Afro-American. Afro, that's what Malcolm put out there. That's another way you see that Malcolm was kind of with the system. They tried that before. They just called it Afro-American. And that was definitely Malcolm. Malcolm was teaching that in the Muslim schools. And that can't be denied. You've done your real study and you see that. That's what, that Nation of Islam was teaching that at one point. Until Jesse Jackson came again and further taking people. Now people are supposed to be sorry for him because he got Alzheimer's. So why he need a shot if he got Alzheimer's? What does it matter to him? He won't know the difference. You can kind of see, but again, same thing. We know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lost probably most of his money. You don't sell your championship rings and all that when you got money. He trying to say for his charity, but that's just what is the word? Saving face. He was just saving face saying that. He was actually having some real issues. You ain't selling that stuff for nothing. Like Wes Matthews. Wes Matthews sold his rings years ago, probably 20 years ago, like not 10 years after he won his rings, you were seeing them because you can buy championship rings. And I know Wes sold his not long after he played. because I saw them where it's a site that you can buy championship rings. That's all they sell. From every year, you can buy good replicas or you can buy the real thing. Hell, Pawn Stars showed one of the Patriots rings because a lot of the organization gets rings, the ushers or the ticket people or the office people, and a lot of times they don't give a damn about the rings, so they sell them because they know they're good for about 20 grand. Hell, they just showed a Michael Jordan card that got 1.7 million. I think it was the most expensive of his cards. Set some kind of record. They make a card where they cut out a piece of a game jersey and they stick it in the card and Michael signs the shit. And that just made a record. I don't think I highlighted that. I don't think I highlighted that. But that's the kind of shit that's in the world. Here's one. Nuclear powered rockets could get astronauts to Mars faster. I don't know if this is necessarily true. The nuclear would go back to the thing that the me or the my or the Anunnaki. Dan Winters talks about the Anunnaki having to atomic bomb the Van Alden belts to get through, where spiritual people just go through. But I just wrote here, again, remember this, warp drive is an impossibility. There's nothing on Earth that can go faster than light. There's nothing that can be built on Earth that can go faster than light. It's an impossibility. They could never create out of the matter in Earth, you could never create something that would go faster than light. It's an impossibility. Now, you and I, on a spiritual level, we didn't even got to worry about that, but not the machine. Not the machine. And then they say here that things aren't going to come back to normal till 7 years old. Now, this is some bullshit right here. This next one is some bullshit. So I don't really want to say her name, but I'll say some of her name. So her initials are JJ, and her last name starts with an S. She's about 17 or 18 years old. She's been a millionaire, multi-millionaire on YouTube, probably since she was 12 or 13. She's got all kind of little shit that you can buy in stores with her name on it. She's been on Disney a little bit. But this chick, they say she has a perfect girlfriend, so she comes out. And why is the possibilities that they needed to tell young people this? That's my part. And that's why it's propaganda. You see this as being propaganda. And so I don't think they really needed to do that. But some of the things that we face is one thing says Earth heats up due to pandemics, cleaner air. And I wonder, I've often wondered, was a part of this a reset they was forced to do because of that too? Because it definitely helped the climate. So I just wonder, was this a reset to help the climate? So I've often wondered about this. This is an interesting article that I kind of want to touch on. Really interesting. It says the more we learn about crow brains, the more human-like their intelligence are. And it really talks about crows being able to recognize people. Crows live to be about 19 or 20 years old. Oh, crows can live up to 30 years old. And so because they're fairly long lifestyles and their brain is big compared to their bodies, that they have perceptual consciousness. They've done tests with these birds where they recognize individuals, where they use tools, where not only do they use tools, they'll put the tool up so they can use the tool again. They definitely recognize each other. Several societies, cultures have, again, Odin, you watch American Gods, his crows are his eyes. Remember, Odin loses one of his eyes, but his eyes then are his crows. So crows are always been highly looked at as highly intelligent. But this is just a really good article I found that kind of backs that up. And so it's a interesting thing. I noticed there's 2 or 3 crows that come around here into what I call my mother tree. And I always speak to them. Because they're always very vocal, and I always speak to them. And sometimes they get like on my garage and not just high up in the tree. And so I just always speak to them. So it's kind of a good sign in some kind of ways. In some ways, it's kind of a positive thing that crows are around. And I'll tell you, these damn crows up here look like crows in Michigan are little birds, not up here. These birds are big. Like a crow bird is like this big. Like in Michigan, they'd be little birds like this. Up here is about there's crows, no lie, no lie. There's crows about like this with wings. I mean, fairly big sized birds, not just little tiny things. Whoa. Not little, just little tiny things. This was kind of interesting, but it's just a lot to read. I think there was a part in the back. I read some of this. Let me see. I want to get this in here. Right here. Just as in mathematics, where networks and relationships imply nonlinearity, for example, a circular pattern, these peptides create a body network that is self-organizing, self-referred, and self-actualizing. Historically, the limbic system in the brain was associated with our emotions. As it turns out, researchers discovered that a plethora of peptides in these areas. Peptides are the biochemical manifestation of emotions. They play a critical role in coordinating activities of the immune system. They interlink and integrate mental, emotional, and biological activities. Just as the peptides color and change behavior and moods, scientists now think that peptides may evoke a unique emotional tone. The entire group of 60 to 70 peptides may constitute a universal biochemical language of emotions. And so these are just some of the systems going on in our bodies. And if you don't think that our bodies are a universe, I mean, you're sadly mistaken. You don't think that you can actually go into your body. And that was a lot of the argument with my son, is it's like you have to really be strong spiritual to even do that, to be able to go deep into your body. From this just regular 3D kind of looking at thing, it's not enough to really go inside your body. I mean, it takes a spiritual kind of movement. And without that, you could never do it. You could never talk to your body like that. Because your body is like there was a movie where there used to be a TV show and a movie where they make the Europeans in the quantum, and then they go all in the body and they just show how the body reacts. There's a couple of different shows. One is the 60s, one is the 70s, and I think another one's the 80s. But they go into our bodies, and the TV show was showing the type of wars with disease that the body would go through. Would actually be parts that attack you and you would attack back. And so there's a lot of consciousness that goes on that we don't think anything about. Now, again, I often say, your reality is when you wake up, you're only in the bed, you say, because that's what you tell yourself. But for you to just even wake up and start moving, start breathing, this takes a lot of actions. Especially this action where all that was resting, and resting is comfort to any part of your body. And then to want to get up and start doing stuff, that takes a lot of different muscle memory, emotions. I mean, it can get really fun and deep at the same time. Fun and deep at the same time. To be aware of that much of yourself. And going into yourself, because you should know. A lot of people, like they say, know thyself. You should know yourself, not lie to yourself. I mean, if you're a thief, at some point you got to say, yeah, I'm a thief. I like to rush or stealing. Another time you're just like, well, I'm a compulsive. I can't help it. I got to steal. At least you have to say what you are, and don't hide it from yourself. Don't let somebody else define you. And just, if you know that's some shit you are, then you can't, that's what you are. You define it. Know the balance of you. because you can't really lie to yourself. Because no matter how good the thing is or how bad, it's still, it's still a thing. And self-love, self-forgiving, a lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people make a mistake and then beat themselves up the rest of their lives without ever thinking about even trying to have any kind of joy. Because that's what life is. I mean, yeah, it's a struggle, but it's also a way of finding joy, love. Like when people look at failed relationships and stuff, but if you gave it your all and you loved in it, you didn't fail. I mean, yeah, you may have failed to receive what you thought you should receive in love in a relationship, but you can't fault yourself for opening up your heart to love. It's good to love. No, love, like they say, life's like Boudini said in Ali movie, life is a motherfucker. It really can be. And a lot of people perceive love as that because love can be a motherfucker. But you can't be embarrassed that you loved. Can't let anybody belittle you for loving. We need more of that. I have to self-forgive myself often. Yeah, exactly. We really do. We really do. I mean, this journey is never a perfect journey for anyone. It's never a perfect journey. We all make different type of mistakes. I heard, what was somebody saying? They try to not to put themselves in a life-changing situation. Well, sometimes you just can't help it. Sometimes you do some little shit that can turn into some big shit. And you really was never your intention. It's kind of shit snowballed on your ass. And you hear this little thing done turned into a big thing. But once it was all corrected, however it was corrected, you can't keep beating yourself up. I mean, at some point you got to forgive yourself. Just learn. Now, if you keep making that same mistake, then you might be an evil person. And you got to understand that too. If you're evil motherfucker, you're just evil. And at least you admit it. That's not a bad thing. I mean, at least you know yourself. You ain't lying about it. That's the most people that are evil and live the best evil lives. They know the shit and they go with it. And right now we got a whole system. We got a whole system that fooled everybody. And they've created something to panic everybody. And this is what it took for them to defeat Trump. They made this shit up and they defeated Trump with it. The people that won had to have made it up because they wouldn't have won without this. There's no way. If this thing would have never happened, there's no way Biden and Sister Girl would have beat Trump. There's no way. That's why when Trump first looked at it, he said, this shit gonna disappear just like it came. Because that's what his people was telling him. They are doing some propaganda. And he kept trying to tell people. And then you saw even his desperation when he said he had it. He tried to use it against them to get some sympathy votes. And it was you kind of saw he lost. When he was next to Lil Wayne, when he said he had it, them was sympathy things. It was very sympathy. And remind me of the same shit Hillary Clinton, when I saw that Trump could win, was when Hillary Clinton the last day brought up Jay-Z and Beyonce campaigning with her. I was like, shit, this is desperate. But that was what I thought. When I saw them with her, I'm like, this is a desperate move of a desperate person. This looked like a person that ain't about to win. And when Trump was with Lil Wayne and he said he had it and his wife had it, it was the same thing. I think they started leaking saying all that his people was having it. Or they were sabotaged. He could have been sabotaged too. I wouldn't have trusted they doctors. These people ain't practiced this shit for long. I mean, this is so people accepted communism, and there's no way around that. That's what we're facing right now. Is we're facing communism. So we have to see how long this is going to last. As I was saying, just like they once sold sweaters with hats, now they sell sweaters with the matchy mask. They want to make the shit fashionable. They want you to make it only you. They want you to personalize it. That's how they do their agenda. Once you personalize it, it's a popular thing. Personalizing is popular. I mean, do you know how stupid people look taking selfies with masks on? It is the most oxymoron shit you could ever do. You are wearing a freaking mask and you're taking a selfie. Selfie, that's what it means. It means selfie. You, not some fucking mask covering up the selfie. When you take a picture, you take a selfie with a mask on, you covering up the selfie. So it makes no sense to do. But yet on Facebook, you're seeing that shit. And Facebook has a type of spell. You'll see one woman do it or one man do it. You'll see 10 other people do it. Or that TikTok like this shit they try to copy with the short little videos. You see one woman in a pose, you see a bunch of them. Let me tell you one. I have Facebook friends with this chick, and this chick lost her eye, I think, fairly young. And apparently somebody was talking shit about her. And she took a picture with her eye out. So she lost her right eye. She put a selfie on there and said, "So what? Y'all talking shit about me with my no eye." And I'm like, damn, they really got to you. How can people get to you to make you take a picture of you? Because you always taking cute pictures with your fake eye and your real eye. But how do people get to you where you're going to take a picture with the eye popped out? I don't understand. Because she was making like little comments like, I lost my eye a long time ago. And then they finally must have got to her so bad, she popped her eye out and took a picture. How do you get to that point that you care that much to share your suffering like that? To show to the world, I know I got a fake eye. This shit don't bother me. How does that go along with your pretty pictures? Because in some way, people could look at that as your creature picture. And I know it's saying you take me at my worst. If you take me at my worst, you should take me at my best. The same kind of thing, you know. I understand that part, but it's like because people talking shit, I don't get it. That you make you pop your eye out. Shit, I got only one leg. That don't mean I'm gonna pop my one leg off. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just the same thing. It's like, well, I only got one leg, and y'all talking shit about my one leg, and fuck this one leg, and I'll hop around I'll take some pictures of me hopping around. It's the same kind of thing. But I guess to be young and pressure, Facebook pressure, people calling you, girl, guess what they said about you? They said you was a no good one-eyed witch. I'll fix them. I'll pop it right out and take a picture. What do you guys think? I don't know. Hey, Jason. Good evening, Ismail. Well, thank you. And it's just the young people's mentality. But just watch the spell of Facebook. You see one picture, duck lips, you're gonna see a bunch of them with duck lips. I remember one woman, like she took duck lips every picture, and she's like, "Do not comment on my duck lips. I'll erase you." Why do you have to take duck lips? Duck lips. But you know the funniest duck lips I saw? University of Minnesota coach make about 10, he makes maybe not 10 million, but he makes 5 million at least a year. He was on the sideline coaching, and this is something I don't get about pro athletes and coaches. He was on the big board, and he saw himself on the big board, and he puckered duck lips. He saw himself on the big board in the football stadium where he's the head coach, and he did the pose of the duck lips. Some of the funniest shit I ever witnessed. I'm like, wow. You know, you're on national TV, you're on the big board and where you coach, and you make all this money, but you're still doing the pouty duck lips. I was like, wow, what kind of cat does that? Who needs that? Who needs that? But apparently that cat needed that. So to each his own. Is his own thing. But that's what I don't understand. Like people, it's like when you talk shit on Facebook, that's all it is talk shit. Like I tell my friends, I should be able to talk shit to my friends. That don't mean I hate you. Like I got a friend that works for Pfizer. I was giving him the business about that shit. You work for that poison. That don't mean I blame that shit on you. And he rightly was defending the shit. That looks good. Because if they ever check his shit, they say, hey, he defended us. That's what he should do. You should defend it. But know all the story. You are helping with the poison. So that's the whole story. So I can't judge your pockets. I understand. You got people to feed. You got a lifestyle to maintain. And if it hurts others for you to maintain your lifestyle, well, that's your intentions. That goes with that. Because your intention would be, I'm going to make money and it doesn't matter. Now, you can tell yourself this thing is good, but there's not enough experience to know if it's good or bad. This is a very rushed thing, so you can't really say, is this good or bad? You don't know. It's not been around long enough. I have to look at these bottles because I would be throwing shit in these bottles. And I screwed up my water. But that's how it's looked at sometimes. And people care too much about that type of life. Like, I've never got on Instagram. I have one, but I've never used it. I mean, when Facebook first bought Instagram, they kind of made you sign up for it. And so what is that, about 5-6 years ago? I started that shit. I never would do nothing to it. Just never appealed to me. I know my sons and I hear people, but I never use that shit. I never have used that at all. It didn't appeal to me. I know a lot of people have quite big platforms using it, but that just never appealed to me and what I'm about. You know, comment on that shit, you know. But I am going to throw arrows. I'm definitely throwing arrows. There's a fat man that's a comedian. We're about the same size. He's a little younger than me, but I'm going to have to throw arrows at him. So out in California, I'm gonna see you in your dreams. Definitely, I'm throwing arrows your way because I think little foulness might have been done to me because of somebody's ego. So I'm gonna look at it, but yeah, okay. I mean, I don't really like. You're gonna give the Bible up. That's one thing. Whoever has the Bible, they're gonna get a Bible back. The corruption of the hero's twin continuous game has to come to an end. We're going to keep exposing this, and more people are going to believe us. Now, that is my crusade. But my personal thing, yeah, I'm throwing arrows at you. So, okay, we're going to see how your dream's going to be for the next few weeks. Because if you've had a hand in something because your feelings, then you got to suffer the consequences. And the spiritual attacks is one of the worst attacks to affect or to take on, especially you being the way you are. So we'll see. We'll see if you had a hand in it. If you didn't, then you're not going to be bothered. But if you had a hand in it, yeah, you're going to be attacked for sure. I'm going to definitely see you in your dreams. Haven't heard you talk like that. Well, I mean, just people think they can do things because they think people have smaller platforms and they think they can do things to people with smaller platforms. And okay, but everybody ain't the same. And so if this person I'm talking about, if this person has something to do with it, then yeah, it's definitely going to be some spiritual stuff. It's going to be a kind of spiritual warfare. So you may be in Hollywood, but you still got a dream. And Czar stuff, I'm getting stronger and stronger with that stuff every day. So you don't mess with this stuff. So, but if you have nothing to do with it, then it'll go poof. I'm the first to say that. But if you did, you gonna get it. And that's no joke. That's no joke. I'm sending that out there. And if you got trolls that listen, then they gonna get it too. It's gonna spread. So we'll see. But all the people that rock with me, thank you. Thank you for tonight listening to my son. Let him philosophize. But that's okay because, hey, it brings material. Sometimes material is good. And he's young. And it's sometimes good to hear young people's ideas and just get it out. So I thank everybody that came in. Thank you, T Gaming. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that comes in, everybody that support me. I mean, without everybody supporting me, things wouldn't have moved on this platform as fast as they have. So I appreciate it. Because I know before, just the people that have clicked into my channel, I mean, it took almost a year to get to the point where it's only taken me a couple weeks. So I appreciate that. I really do. And then the people that do watch me stay with me from the time I start to the time I end, I thank you. I do. I appreciate that you listen to this old boy. and it's like the answers ain't always easy answers. It's really not. We live in a thing that it's always changing, and so we have to change. That's the thing. It's like you can't be, and that's where belief comes. And that's why I was saying earlier with belief. A lot of times belief will lock you into something. Like right now, my cousin he's in the Nation of Islam. It's no way he can get out of Scientology. It's no way he can get out of being a Mason, because that's what Farrakhan did. So it's no way to get away from that. Just like when you see that Raza Islam dude, he is doing some of them Scientology classes in the machines. They make people pay for this stuff. So you can't say it's not part of that. It's all of that. And if you only saying it's that it ain't that, you're wrong. It's all that. Mason, Scientology, and Islam. It's Christian Islam. All of them trying to be together. But if you only talk about just Islam, you again, you're not telling the whole story. I told my cousin 10 years ago about Farad didn't die, like Elijah Muhammad was saying, that they found him. Then Ali's wife come out and say, his ex-wife, Belinda, she came out and said, yeah, this cat was alive until at least the 80s. Under Elijah Muhammad's story, he disappears miraculously in like the 50s to never be heard of again. And you can look up Farad too. You can look him up. You can look up his prison record. You can look up Elijah Poole's prison record. All that's out there. You can look up Elijah Poole in Georgia. And both of them followed the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They was both in the Moorish Science Temple. Both of them. In Chicago. Where did they start? Well, they started in Detroit. Temple number 1 was in Detroit, and then they moved to Chicago. Took over Noble Drew Ali's flock. So, I mean, these are just realities. See who these people are. It ain't no secret. Dianetics, there you go. Dianetics. This is part of them. And how do you stand on that? How do you stand on that? I don't get that. Now, my son was saying a cult. That Dianetic shit is a cult like a motherfucker. For rich people, a cult. We are going, baby. Late night grinding. There you are, JR Smooth. Yeah, here it's almost 4 o'clock. I know my daughter's gonna be here about 11. I don't care, I ain't got nothing to do tomorrow. I am dreading the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl doesn't start until it's probably gonna start like our time, 6 Central Time, 5:30. But really the game, I don't think kickoff is at 5:30. I think kickoff is at more like 6 my time, 7 everybody else's time. By 9 o'clock, it's supposed to be 14 below zero. Do you know what traveling is? I mean, again, you can just zip, but something happens and have to do shit at 14 below. Now, I told the story. I was looking out this window one night. It was wind chill of 30 below. It was about 5 or 6 below. I watched my old neighbors lived up under me. It was some Hispanic people. And they changed the brake in wind chill minus 30. They changed brakes. They did it in about 40 minutes. Do you know how quick your hands go numb? And I imagine everything turned and everything. They didn't have no power guns or nothing. They had to do old wrenching. and they put the brakes on -30. That's a hell of a dedication to each other. It was his brother. His brother helped him. But I was like, damn. I was learning Bucks, but not. I was leading Bucks, but thinking KC wins because Brady winning would be too obvious. And after the DUI one is incident, it's a tough one. Yeah, it really is, because the little one, again, that would almost be tied into a sacrifice in some ways. That makes no sense that he would be DUI the day he's supposed to be leaving, or the day he's leaving in a day or two. That's something I never understood, why so many people get the drunk thing when you could take Uber, Lyft, or a cab, or call somebody. I mean, what is the ego that you got to drive? It's like almost sometimes they be setups. But for him to harm people, for people to be harmed, that's a fucked up judgment. And you making a lot of money? Because I thought it was odd to say he was in a car accident and he wouldn't be traveling. I'm like, why would the car accident unless he got hurt? But to drunk and harm children? What kind of, that's a person that doesn't regard anything. He had total, like he had no rules. This man was making so much money working for his daddy that he really didn't think he had any rules. Instead of using that money, he put them babies in danger. You make money to make less mistakes. So why drive drunk when it's easy to call anything? Ubers and Lyfts is cheap. Matter of fact, even now the cabs ain't that bad because they got competition. The cabs, glad you call them now. Their rates more in line with Uber and Lyft rates. So that I still never got that part. Like I told my son, I think I said this last night. The last time I drove drunk was 1996 or 7. I went to a party, my ex-wife and I did get kind of drunk, and we drove the K car home. But that's how long ago, 20 some years ago. It was just something I never made a habit out of. My ex-wife, his mother, she's got like something like 3 or 4 DUIs. Yeah. She made a habit out of it. She would do it every week. It's surprising she didn't get caught more. But it was something that was a habit for her. And again, I've talked many times why so many people can successfully drink and drive is because it's the same energy. It's the exact same energy. The energy that it takes to drive a car and drinking go pretty hand in hand, just because the overall way the energy is. It's a very, especially when I talk about putting the snakes in and then the clover leaves. And then now we got the roundabout. So do you see the circle of the spinning is already into the roads? So if alcohol gives you a type of unlevel spin, and then you got a clover leaf to get on, or you got a roundabout to go around, do you see how you're already plugged in to do these things successfully? The roundabout is made where you pretty much going to be successful, where the arrows, it's lights and it's arrows and you just follow it. The same way as a clover leaf to get on and get off. So it's a lot of the same energy. And I know that's kind of a hard concept to people to understand. But if you look at it from a spiritual aspect of the troll under the bridge, and just like this picture I have in front of me of them working on the Chrysler building, the entity that wants to become the building cannot let thousands of people fall off, or it would never get built. So the entity protects the people, and especially back in the 30s and 40s, something like 100,000 people worked on that Chrysler building and less than 100 died. How's that possible without any harnesses, belts? Wasn't a great number. Now, maybe 100 is a little off, but it wasn't much greater than that. It wasn't thousands. It wasn't thousands that fell off that building. Because again, if that happened, it wouldn't be built. People be like, man, we're not going back up there. Motherfucker fall off every day. Explain that to me. Boss man. Yesterday, John went up there and John fell off. Can't let that happen. In the same way with driving. Driving cannot let a lot of people die all the time, not even in bad weather. And I know you can call some of this energy to help you in bad weather because I gave like an ice storm. I'm coming through Wisconsin, the last perfect trip. Last 100 miles, I catch a ice storm. And I'm trying to pass a damn truck. And I'm like, hey, I talk to y'all every day. Please help me stay grounded and give me some traction to move through this shit. I don't ask for it a lot. And went on through the shit. Because I understand the energy there. That energy is there for me to be successful. Then less than crash. And yes, random people do die and random people get in accidents. Yes, but not a lot, not comparative. Like when they say that driving, like when they say flying a plane is safer than driving a car, that's a fact on the amount of people that are moved a long distance, because that's what you have to measure. You're moving a lot of people from a long distance. Is it more successful than if you took that car? In some ways it is. It's safer in some ways. Because again, you can't have them machines just falling out the air all the time. They have to be more successful where people will keep doing it. But driving even more so. Because more people drive than fly. There's people going through their whole lives and never fly. But that's, just kind of seeing how the system works. That's all. Well, I think I'm tied in. I don't even think I gave the Eshawn poem yesterday. Who you got in the Super Bowl? I'm still going Bucks and the points. I've never been in 0 below weather. Yeah, it's. I went out and I got some mail. I had to walk out there and you just dress for the shit. I was leading Bucks, but now I'm thinking KC wins. Yeah. I've already put my money on the Bucks. I would be mad if KC wins. Long as they don't cover. I don't care who wins, long as they don't cover. If KC wins and don't cover, that's right down my lane. My money is the over. Yeah, I took the over too. You remember when Jamal Lewis went down with the bricks? Oh, I think I kind of do. I didn't realize that's how he went down, though. Yeah, I remember Jamal Lewis. I don't respect drunk drivers. They're usually not good people. Very selfish thing to do. Hell of a selfish thing to do. I'll agree. Hell of a selfish thing to do. The term Jesus take the wheel. 8-wit, I get you. Definitely a good side of the universe that protects us in times like that. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's definitely that. And that's why people get away. I mean, shit, they ain't stopped locking mucks up until like 1980s. Honestly, drunk driving did not really start locking people up till the 80s. Not like they do today. It was a time where they would just let you go. Joe, why are you swerving? You need me to take you home? Oh, I already got a couple blocks to go. I've been with my dad where I knew my dad was driving drunk, but because of my dad's position where he worked, they let him go. They wouldn't even test him. They just, I don't know, maybe he was speeding and they didn't realize it was him, because that's a lot of times what would happen. My dad would be speeding and get pulled over in the city where he worked, and it's like, oh, we didn't know it was you. And my dad hired everybody. So do you see, if you was a city employee, you was going to let him go. As a matter of fact, they'd be like, well, I need to come talk to you. That's a lot of times that's what they would get. Come see me. They wouldn't test him or anything. And I knew he was kind of drunk. So, yep. He gets set up by a girl trying to middleman 2 keys. Oh, he got set up by a girl trying to middleman. Oh, I didn't remember that. Wow, Jason, I didn't remember that. I didn't know that happened to Jamal Lewis. Yeah, he's the running back. Wow, I didn't even know that. Wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time. Cats don't have that bread, like they say. Cats take them chances. Like the football player a few years ago, Nate Newton, had all that weed. It's like, why be so sloppy? You hustle, you can't be sloppy. And how do they know? And how did they find you? You had to do something that was sloppy. All the people that get away with it, why did you get caught? So, your son is cool, but very argumentative. Oh, yeah, he's very argumentative. And that's kind of the way he's raised, to have his own mind. He is still cool seeing him. Well, thank you. He was living across the hallway, and our friend over there, his sister came back. And so he had a spot here, which he don't really bother me, not really. He's turned out well, honestly, comparative how he was when he was little. Actually, my 19-year-old too. They was the baddest of the bad. It's like my daughter. I don't have to. When my daughter's in my room, I ain't got to worry about her going through none of my shit. She just ain't that kind of person. Not that mug. That mug would be through everything. If you put him in a room and you didn't watch his ass, he going under the bed, behind the headboard. He going in every drawer. He going in your closet. He just couldn't help himself. One time he went into somebody's house, and his mother told me this, and he told me too. He found the dude's AK, and he walked out in the front room with the AK. I don't remember if it was loaded or not, but they didn't put him in a room, told him to watch TV. He looked around the room and found the damn AK. Because that's how he was. He's no chill. he's like no chill. But not my daughter. I do not have to worry about it. I got knives in there and everything, and she just won't bother them because that's just not her nature. She'll watch her tablet or watch this damn computer, and she just don't care about that stuff. But not when he was little. He saw knives. Like he took one of my knives. It was a steak knife, and he took it because it looked like a regular knife. And it's like, why did you take my steak knives? Then I had to buy more silverware because he would always take a bowl with him and take one of my spoons and forks. And before you know it, I didn't have any more forks. But I got a bunch of silver plate and silver forks now. So son likes what's yours is mine. Oh, definitely. Now he's 18 too. They were supposed to go shooting today, and they didn't go. And I really, right now, ammunition is so expensive. I am not going to waste any ammo on shooting. Him and one of his friends is going, but not me. None of my ammunition. Ammunition is too sacred. Matter of fact, it's easier to buy it in bulk than it is. It's just like to get 1,000 rounds, you can pay about $400, especially at 223s. I think I did hear something kind of interesting is you want common weapons where if you do shoot people, you can take their weapon and you can use the weapon or in the same bullets. That is a good point of mind. Picking it up. Pick up. That is something that should be considered. That's why like 357 SIG is not really a good round because it's not a common round. And another thing is carrying a bunch of different types of calibers can be heavy when you're moving around. Again, I got a friend with a garage full of ammunition. And I keep telling him, I'm like, it's only so much of this we're gonna be able to take with us. He's like, I don't plan on moving. And I'm like, that's stupid. Why wouldn't you plan on moving? If some stuff came around, you would have to move around. You couldn't just be static. This ain't the Alamo. That's why I was telling him, I'm like, this ain't the Alamo, dude. We ain't going to be able to hold out here forever. No matter how many rounds you got, it's not going to be forever. Well, as I always end with Eshawn, I'm going to end again. What'd you say? Would you want to live at the point, though? Yeah, exactly. War is not fun. Killing ain't fun. Because of the disregard for life that you have to live. You have to believe. I mean, it's really that simple. You convince yourself to be a psychopath because of the conditions and the times. You really do. You convince yourself to be a psychopath. Watch the Vietnam special and you can hear it. And one guy pretty much says it. He says, well, like one of my friends said, going to Vietnam was a year of no rules. Not a year of being in the army. He said a year of no rules. And then he also said that, he was kind of crazy and crazy people thrive in those kind of environments. That was his words. I said, well, were you ever scared? He's like, well, I'm crazy. So I like that shit. And he was he went in younger. Even when I knew him, he was a very young looking dude even then. And he probably was 10 years older than me. One of my neighbors almost. He was almost one of my neighbors. We was working together before I left. It's funny, where I used to work in the water department, it probably ain't one dude that worked there still. Bunch of people done died. I know the guy who hired me, the engineer that hired me, that was one of my friends. I know he passed. He passed in 10. But it's interesting. If I'd have stayed there, I would have had 34, 35 years. Can you imagine? I couldn't. I didn't want to raise children in the South. There's no knock on anybody who lives in the South, but it's just my personal preference. I didn't want to hear them, "Hi, Daddy." I just didn't want it. I just didn't want that. But then I got people to say over north, "On my mom." Because when you say "on your mom," that means you really mean the shit. You're not lying, because it's like, "On my mom." That means this shit is real as it could be. But that's how the hood talks. You can dig. Like I said, they don't call it the north side. They say over north. I don't know where that comes from, but that's what they call it. That's our hood. Shit. But even though this is a fairly fluid area, the little area we live in is something like, I mean, this is the affordable living, which they force every city to have affordable living. That's somebody knocking. I'm not. Must be the cat. So, well, I am going to crash. Gosh, I went much longer than I anticipated, but that's all right. And who would be out in the hallway at this time of the morning? Anyway, so as Eshawn says, I'm not a New York rapper or LA gang banger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. That was my host. That was my son, Cidy. And hope you enjoyed our conversations. Thank you all. I appreciate you coming checking out this old man. Whoops. Definitely thank everyone. Whoops. Well, those are very kind words, Ismo. Thank you. And till we meet again. I need to stand